Might help if I got my mic set up. I'm supposed to be live. Okay, I'm definitely live. Is anybody here? I don't, well, it says 5 viewers. It is set to public. Ah, there we go. Hi, Abstruse One. Guess I'll wait until people start showing up. Oh, hi, Adam. Wait until some people start showing up before I, get started here. Not too many people here yet. I never know what to talk about when there's no one to when there aren't people saying stuff in the chat. Let me see. People are overrated. Hi, Artie. Well, they're kind of necessary when I want to get viewers. I'm trying to see if there's a little Madu video or something I can put on temporarily to react to. I don't think there are any unwatched Madu videos. Damn. Yeah, oh well. It was just a thought. By the way, I might have an animation for coffee set up. I'm not sure if it works, though, so... I did at least attempt it. So if I get a donation through coffee, there might be an animation there. Well, it's Passover and Easter, so people are like doing things with families or some such. That could be true. For me, Easter is tomorrow, so I suppose for some people it might be today. Let's test it out. All right. Let me... I see you still have the pride flag up. Yeah, I did it just to piss off that one guy. Hi, Noah. Time to hate on season 12. Not quite. I've got Thanks for the Memory versus Clues first, and then it'll be time to hate on season 12. Although season 12 gets off to a good start, and then Timewave happens. Just glancing over the list, they look like good episodes, as I recall, with the exception of Timewave. High five. Okay, well, I see some people are here, so, more mediocre? I don't know. I liked Cured a lot. Hi, St. Clinton. Tomorrow is not only Easter, but my birthday. Oh, happy birthday. First time in my life that they are the same day. Oh, yeah, I guess Easter isn't always on the same day of the month, is it? Yeah, it's always on a Sunday. Yeah, M-Corp was also good. Hi, Isaiah. Okay, well, let's get started. I know Special Iron said he was going to be late, so I'm not going to wait for him. He must have gotten lost.
You would gamble your safety for a mere android? Is this the human value you call friendship? Don't give me the Star Trek crap. It's too early in the morning.
Well, I kind of have fun. I'm comparing and contrasting Star Trek with Red Dwarf already, so when I recently caught Clues on TV, after not having seen it in a while, I couldn't help but notice some interesting similarities to the Red Dwarf.
My hair's looking weird. I don't know what's wrong with it.
So I thought it'd be fun to take a little break from the regular videos to talk about that. It doesn't come up very often in my videos, but I actually love Star Trek The Next Generation. My favorite main character is Data. I just kind of have a soft spot for robots with Pinocchio syndrome.
And also, he's cute. Well, let me see. Sorry, Artie says, I'm responding to Artie's post that I didn't even read out loud. Where am I? He said I got unending. Thanks for using PayPal screen that doesn't go away. I'm not sure if it even went through. Interesting. Have I seen the cat movie? What cat movie are you talking about? Let me see if, Yeah, well, apparently the coffee animation thing doesn't work, so that's a bummer. Oh, it doesn't look like it went through. Oh well, thanks for giving it a shot. I'll just take this off. I'll just hide it for now. I love TNG and Data too. I have a Funko Pop of him. Oh, how cute. Knock off that Star Trek crap. It's too early in the morning. Hi, DP. I am new here. Came across your channel because I saw you review some Monsters episodes. Oh, cool. Maybe he meant cats? I don't know. What cat movie were you referring to, Corey Cobb? Also, hi, I didn't catch your name earlier. All right.
Especially when they're cute. That subject could probably be its own video, actually. I also get a huge kick out of Worf, Counselor Troy's mom, and who doesn't love Q?
Picard. I'm going by that
many
picture.
Of Captain Picard's little characteristics have become internet memes. But that's enough about the Next Generation in general. I just figured I wouldn't get many chances to talk about it, plus I wanted to let you know where I'm coming from. Also, let me make it very clear that I'm not accusing Star Trek of ripping off Red Dwarf. While Clues did come out 3 years after Thanks for the Memory, so it's possible, especially since Patrick Stewart has mentioned that he's a Red Dwarf fan, I think two different sci-fi shows about people living in a giant ship where they explore space are bound to have other similarities. Again, this video is purely for fun, not to accuse anyone of anything. And since I have talked about Thanks for the Memory in a previous video, I'll be focusing more on Clues in this one. Clues
that title
opens
card.
up with the crew having some downtime, so they do stuff like practice Tai Chi and experiment with plants. Meanwhile, the Dwarfers are celebrating Rimmer's death day with a drunken dance party. That's kind of how these two versions of the future differ in a nutshell. Though Picard and Guinan are on the holodeck, which I've compared to the AR games in Red Dwarf.
I have an appointment with Mr. Hill at 2 o'clock.
Bringing Whoopi Goldberg on this show was probably one of the best decisions they ever made.
Yep.
You stole his money?
Don't listen to him, Gloria. He's lying.
I love it when Picard does the Dixon Hill thing. So this scene doesn't have that much to do with the rest of the episode, but it sets up the idea that people, Captain Picard in particular, love a mystery.
Who is this man? Who killed him? It's a mystery. Now we have to go search for clues.
Guinan's not too into it, though. But he's interrupted when the bridge crew discovers an unknown planet that looks like it could support life, so they have to check it out. And end up finding what appears to be a wormhole.
Small and extremely unstable wormholes have been mapped near 39 T-Tauri systems in the last 100 years alone, sir.
Except that it ends up apparently swallowing the Enterprise, leaving everyone but Data unconscious. When they wake up, it's 30 seconds later, according to Data.
Well, where the hell are we?
Except that where the ship is located implies that they covered a day's worth of space.
Ship status.
Notice Worf back there. He's favoring his wrist, which is going to come up later. But yeah, everything appears fine. No major damage to anyone or to the ship, except that Counselor Troy feels a little off.
It'll pass.
Picard remembers the planet they were going to investigate, but Data advises against going back there and
Or you're talking about Promised Land. Yeah, I did a video on it.
suggests they launch a probe instead.
I wouldn't call it a cat movie, though.
Make it so.
According to Data, I'm going to be saying that a lot before things get going, the probe says basically that the planet is not habitable and has a frozen core. Riker doesn't quite buy this.
I told Chalk.
It's awfully strange that a malfunctioning sensor would give such a specific misreading of a planet.
It is conceivable that the sensors picked up the afterimage of an actual planet on the other side of the wormhole.
Data says that they can
Yeah, this is a
examine
good
the nearby
TNG
planets,
episode.
but that'll take several days. Picard feels like the mystery is sufficiently solved and decides to move on. You're looking mighty suspicious, Data. By the way, you could sort of compare this to Hawley's message to the Red Dwarf crew, warning them that they're not going to like what they find if they proceed.
Heard what he said. Knows what he's talking about, that dude.
The main difference being that Hawley's mind was wiped along with everyone else's. Yes, I did just compare Data to Hawley.
Gordon Bennett.
Meanwhile, Dr.
Gordon
Crusher
Bennett.
is treating Chief O'Brien. Poor guy was hanging a plant when he fell and got a hurt elbow in the process. She goes to get something and notices something weird about her plant experiment, where she was trying to grow a kind of alien moss.
You said we were unconscious for 30 seconds?
Correct.
Then why do these show a full day's growth? Perhaps something extraordinary happened to one of them, but not to all of them.
Picard insists that they were only out for 30 seconds, but Crusher thinks that this is possible proof that they were out for a full day. So Picard questions Data, who has kind of a weird theory about the moss that backs up his claim.
That effect may have allowed Dr. Crusher's moss to arrive at the other side of the wormhole with the unanticipated growth.
It makes sense that Data would be a better liar than Crichton since he has no emotions and therefore doesn't have anxiety about it. So, spoiler, Data is perpetually in lie mode in this episode. That said, no one actually believes Data, even though it's unusual for him to lie.
Not for a second. I'm amazed he even proposed it.
So they decide
I'm
to
gonna
check
grab my
various
heater really
data
quick,
on
but I'll
the
still be
ship
in
to see if
earshot.
there's any evidence of more time passing.
Doctor, Commander, make it so. If there is something wrong with Data, we don't want him to be aware of our suspicions.
So, among other things that are too complicated to reiterate, Geordi checked the computer's chronometer and there's a security program to prevent tampering with it, but it was disabled and replaced with another program.
Someone has reset the clock. Data and I are the only ones aboard this ship capable of doing it.
Well, that's a point in their favor. The Red Dwarf crew didn't even think to reset their clocks. However, they did delete the evidence of
Pajama
their trip
Critic.
to a certain moon, and Hawley caught on to that, which is a little similar.
And some git's been fiddling with it.
Along with the missing black box, Red Dwarf is treated more like a big airplane where the Enterprise is more advanced. The closest thing to the overgrown moss is the finished puzzle in Red Dwarf.
It is a mystery, Captain.
Yeah, I don't make a drinking game out of every time someone says mystery in this episode. He is questioned again, but refuses to answer this time, but consents to having his head checked.
Captain's log supplemental. It has become clear that everyone aboard the Enterprise has lost an entire day.
Did you look behind the fridge? If you lose something, it's nearly always there.
Kind of off topic, but I like this conversation between Data and Geordi. Geordi, in a half-kidding way, uses bedside manner so Data won't be uncomfortable.
You look you're a bit uncomfortable yourself.
It just seems like you're not being completely honest with this, Data.
Yeah, I think Geordi is a little hurt that Data is keeping something from him.
I'm your friend, and if there's something wrong, I want you to tell me.
I cannot tell you anything beyond what I have already stated.
Or at least he's worried about what's going on with Data, that he needs to do that. Anyway, Geordi doesn't find anything physically wrong with Data, but they start thinking he may have rigged the probe.
If you rigged it, could you prove it? I could try.
Then Counselor Troy gets dizzy and retires to her quarters. I can't believe those two became a couple for a while. What a random pairing that was.
Yeah.
Worf and Dax made a lot more sense. Fight me.
Not a fan of Worf and Troy
Anyway,
as
she
a
looks in
couple.
the
That
mirror
was
and has a
strange.
freak out.
It seemed a stranger was staring back at me from behind my own eyes, as if my face was a mask.
Okay, that's creepy. Sometime later, Data is being questioned again. Apparently, he pulled up an image of a planet from their archives.
I cannot verify that hypothesis.
You don't deny it.
No, sir.
Geordi is told to send another probe.
Yes. I'm sorry, Data.
It sucks to be Geordi in this episode. Picard tells Data
Yeah.
what happened to Counselor Troy and asks if it's linked to the missing 24
It's
hours.
kind of a neat shot right there.
Sure, I cannot.
Picard demands to know why Data has been hindering his every attempt to find out what's going on.
you rather endanger Deanna, a friend and colleague, than tell me what is going on?
Which would you place first? The welfare of a single individual, or that of the entire crew?
So you're saying that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few? As if fans weren't already comparing Data to Spock. Picard orders Data to tell him what actually happened. Whatever it is that Data is hiding, he's willing to put his career...
You also realize that you would most likely be stripped down to your wires to find out what the hell has gone wrong.
and possibly his life on the line for it. Meanwhile, Worf is experiencing some wrist pain, so he goes to see Dr. Crusher. I love how he obviously doesn't want to be there.
Perhaps not.
That's so cute.
Warrior does not complain about physical discomfort.
And the fact that he'd hate being called cute just makes it cuter. It turns out that his
Worf
wrist
is cute.
was broken, reset, and treated during the
Hi,
missing
baby
time.
girl.
Kind of like how Lister and Kat each have a broken foot. Obviously, Red Dwarf medical technology isn't as advanced, since they have to wear casts. Which have signatures on them, I just noticed. Worf is like, I didn't get hurt, shut up. This indicates that not only did the lost 24 hours happen, but they were all conscious of it at the time and apparently had their memories wiped afterwards.
There are very few individuals on board who could have broken my wrist. Commander Data is one of those individuals.
He's actually hilariously wrong about that, and I can't wait until I get to that scene.
Yep.
Commander Data is refusing to cooperate because he believes that he is acting in the best interest of the Enterprise.
Anyway, the probe comes back with the same information they got on the planet before they encounter...
Don't spoil me if you've seen... I haven't seen the newest episode of Picard yet. Lee's out of town, so I have no one to procure the episode for me. So I haven't seen this week's episode yet, but so far I really like Worf in season 3 of Picard. He's like... He's mellowed out a lot in his old age, and he's all about, like... self-improvement and all that. It's really cool. He also looks really good with gray hair.
the wormhole. Except that now there are no traces of a wormhole.
That's because there is no wormhole. There never was. It's a ruse designed to throw us off the track.
Picard has realized that there must have been a struggle during that time that they don't remember.
The fact that we're still alive suggests we might have won.
Data's behavior would seem to suggest that we did not. Maybe a compromise was reached. A compromise that forced Data into this silence.
They come to the conclusion that there was probably a good reason why their memories were wiped, and Picard is prepared to let it go.
Some things are best left buried.
But he needs to find out what Data's role was in this.
Hanson, take us back to the scene of the crime.
I love his choice of words there. He's channeling Dixon Hill a little.
Scene of the
they put up
crime.
the shields and get ready for some kind of possible attack. They are approached by an energy pulse, which appears to go into Counselor Troy. Who approaches Data, apparently possessed.
The plan has failed.
I think it's sort of amusing that it had her get dressed first, since she was asleep and in her nightgown before. Also, it had her put makeup on.
I have to look my best when I destroy the ship.
I love using the voice altering
Space.
Alien
thing.
Yeah, this time it is aliens. You ever notice that they never use that word on Star Trek? It makes sense. If you
Almost
live and work
never.
in space with people from other planets, you wouldn't want to use a word like aliens. It would be dehumanizing, for lack of a better word. So yeah, this is the being that had some kind of deal going on with Data where he wasn't supposed to tell anyone what happened.
The Enterprise is not a threat to you. Give me more time. Our destruction would only
And yeah, apparently everyone on the ship is in danger.
do nothing. It may yet be possible to salvage the situation.
Anyway, Data is
That was inadvertently a funny edit. It looked like Geordi walked in, went whoops, and then walked out.
called to the bridge, and he says that they must leave immediately.
Why?
Any further delay would put us all at grave risk.
Why are you compelled to disobey my orders? The missing day. Were you contacted by Starfleet? Did they order you to conceal the truth from us?
That's an interesting conspiracy theory, but the truth is a lot more interesting.
Now, who gave you that order?
You did, sir.
I ordered you to lie.
Meanwhile, there's an energy field that is trying to take over the ship.
We must bury shield shape and strength as rapidly as possible. Maximum shields will only speed the ship's takeover.
It turns out that the planet is inhabited by the Paxtons, who
They are xenophobes, sir. Isolationists.
basically just want to be left alone.
The wormhole is a trap to keep out invaders. It basically stuns everyone on board the ship and pushes the ship away.
So the crew wakes up and thinks they've been through a wormhole, they count their blessings and keep going.
Precisely.
Unfortunately, the stunning doesn't work on Data.
He remained conscious while we tried to take over the ship.
When I realized the crew was incapacitated, I initiated emergency procedures.
So, not unlike in Thanks for the Memory, here's the recounting of what really happened. Data revived the crew while the ship was stuck in a field that was acting as a tractor beam. That's when they took possession of Counselor Troy so they could communicate.
Captain.
Here we go. Yep, Worf just got wharfed by Counselor Troy. Granted, being possessed by the Paxtons probably made her super strong or something, but it just looks so funny out of context.
It does.
You are aware of our existence. We have no choice but to destroy this ship.
If you destroy this ship, then others will come in search of us. Knowledge of your civilization will be spread across half the galaxy.
I love how Captain Picard doesn't try to impose any kind of human morals on them, like killing us would be unethical. He's just like, this isn't going to solve your problem. He promises to never reveal their existence, but that's kind of hollow.
There are over 1,000 life forms on this vessel. How could you assure
Hey,
their
Random Squad.
silence?
I will ask them nicely. Picard asks if the Paxtons have the ability to erase the crew's memories of the encounter. They do, but it'll take a day.
I am ordering you
wanna put my
never
hair
to
up.
reveal what has happened here today. Not to Starfleet, not to myself either.
And of course, he also ordered everyone to hide any traces of what happened.
Let's get to work.
Yeah, we saw how well that worked. Basically, they didn't do a good enough job, obviously, so Picard asks for another chance.
Clues were left behind that suggested a mystery.
Title drop.
And to many humans, a mystery is irresistible. Consider the first time a run-through, a rehearsal, to shake out the flaws.
You are a most unusual species, worthy of a second chance.
Second chance granted.
And this time, let's get it right.
So they wake up again, Data says they were out for 30 seconds, and most of the dialogue is about the same as the first time.
There's still that anomalous Class M planet we were going to investigate. Ensign, replot a course to take us back to...
It is likely the anomalous readings were the result of the wormhole's effect.
So they send out another probe and move on.
Make it so. And put out a hazard advisory to Starfleet.
And I guess this means it worked this time, though we don't really know what they did differently.
Okay.
Other than apparently covering their tracks better. I guess if I wanted to be picky, I could complain about that, but eh. I'm not going to pit the episodes against each other as far as which one was better, because it's a little too much apples and oranges. If nothing
Hey,
else,
Special
Red
Iron.
Dwarf was only in its second season, where The Next Generation was in its fourth. And like I'm always saying, since Red Dwarf is a comedy, it can get away with a lot more, where The Next Generation deserves a little more scrutiny. I do like how the big bad of Clues is just a race of people who wanted to be left alone. Granted, they were ready to destroy the ship if things didn't work out, but I kind of get a kick out of the simplicity of that whole concept. Still on a much bigger scale than Thanks for the Memories, which was all about Lister making the mistake of secretly giving Rimmer some false memories of a previous relationship of his.
You should have bought him a tie.
Then when Rimmer catches on, it results in disaster and heartbreak.
I don't want to feel like this anymore.
So they end up burying the ship's black box on a moon with a headstone to commemorate their memories of this woman as a weird way to put closure on it. Lister and Kat each dropping the headstone on their foot, and then everyone having their memories from the last 4 days erased. Come to think of it, why didn't it occur to them that waking up with casts on their legs would clue them in that something happened? Rule of funny. Clues is a pretty solid episode overall, and I like how it plays on our desire to solve mysteries and how the opening with the Dixon Hill bit kind of foreshadows that. But I do have to give Thanks for the Memory credit for having the scene where Rimmer gets drunk, confesses that he's only ever had sex one time, and in general just gets way too honest, and we end up with what is probably the first instance of Rimmer being a sympathetic character.
I'd trade everything in to be loved and to have been loved.
I just realized Rimmer is the anti-Riker, or is Riker the anti-Rimmer? But yeah, there's nothing like that in
No, I didn't realize that was an image of Thomas Riker. Somebody in the comments thought I did that on purpose to be funny. No, I was just being dumb.
Clues. The closest we get is the
Hadn't seen
scene
DS9 in a really
Data,
long time.
which definitely has heart to it, but it doesn't really compare. We already know that Geordi and Data are besties, and it's not really surprising to find out that Geordi is worried about Data and that something seems to be wrong with them. where moments where we sympathize with Rimmer are few and far between. Also, not enough giant inflatable bananas, 0 out of 10. Nah, both episodes are great in their own way. And I guess that's about all I have to say in regards to how Clues...
Not enough giant inflatable bananas, 0 out of 10.
This is the first video like this I've done, so let me know what you thought of it and if you'd like to see more. If there are more episodes from both shows that are similar to each other, how about Fistful of Datas versus Gunmen of the Apocalypse? Next up, when I get back to Red Dwarf episodes, which should be soon, is Season 12 with Cured. See you then.
Let's see what the, I honestly don't remember what the stinger is.
I've had enough fun for today.
Oops, sorry. Just Guinan being funny. He's William Riker. Just get caught up on the chat really quick. Oh yeah, I have not seen Lackadaisy either. I always mix Clues up with another TNG episode where the crew gets memory wiped by an alien who tries to trick them into committing war crimes? I don't know if I remember that one. I do love the story of Whoopi Goldberg getting the role of Guinan. I seem to recall that Nichelle Nichols was involved in a way. I know you talk about him more later, but... Even when certain British actors pull off an American accent, I can't help but be distracted because I know they're really British. I guess for me it would depend on who it is, how much I'm used to hearing them speak in a British accent. Took me a while to buy Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I think that was the first thing I ever saw him in, so... I didn't have that experience. There's a lot of TNG where they have to solve a mystery of some kind. Well, yeah, that makes sense. That'd be a common kind of plot. She contacted them for a role because Uhura was her childhood hero. There it is. But they thought it was a mistake or a prank because Goldberg had an Oscar, so why would she want to be on their syndicated show? Why do you want to be on this crappy show? Must be a joke. When they found out she was for real, they created the role of Guinan just for her. That's cool. I would love to see Patrick Stewart make a guest shot on Red Dwarf. Maybe as some form of a Gelf. That'd be funny if they put a ton of makeup on him so you couldn't understand him. I think he was originally going to be the voice of Epideme. I want to say I heard that somewhere, but it didn't work out somehow. I wrote an essay at university where I compared Clues to the Buffy episode Tabula Rasa. I could see the resemblance between those two storylines, story ideas, whatever. I like how Data started as a synthetic analog of a human, and then they made him a straight-up robot. I don't know how. Season 1 of Picard kind of implied that he had a soul. Patrick Stewart is a fan of the show. Apparently he caught an episode and had a phone in his hand to call Paramount legal about it when he realized it was a comedy and not a Trek ripoff and loved it. Yeah, I've heard that story. Yeah, the one episode where Worf started jumping universes is where they got together because of the ones he jumped into where they had gotten married. Yeah, yeah, I saw that episode kind of recently-ish.
And that's kind of a dumb reason too, isn't it? Well, we're together in an alternate universe, so why the hell not? And even had kids? I don't remember that. Totally agree on Worf and Jadzia being a better pairing and love their wedding episode. Yeah. They were great together. I love them. They had fun playing a couple in that episode and requested it of the writers. Yeah. Worf on DS9 is so much better than Worf in TNG, mostly because they let him be a character instead of just the big guy who wants to shoot the obvious baddies. I mean, he got more like character development in DS9, I guess, although not all of it was good, I don't think. Worf is like a cuddly teddy bear who likes swords. Worf is also often right, sometimes wrong, but always direct. Yep, that's a good way to describe him. I love how in earlier episodes the crew has highly differing points of view. It's almost surreal knowing that Kira / Bashir and Jadzia / Spock's real kids are married in real life. Interesting. Seriously, if Picard just let Worf shoot the baddies when he wanted to shoot the baddies, it would have saved them so much trouble. But no, they had to wait until shooting them didn't work anymore. Only watched season 3 of Picard. I wouldn't go that far. I thought both seasons 1 and 2 were kind of hit and miss. I don't think they're... I think they're worth watching. I thought season 2 was definitely better than season 1, but it did do some weird stuff that wasn't great. Season 1 was the most flawed, but it was kind of a love letter to Data, so I appreciate it for that, at least. Worf, okay, which one of you chimpanzees did this? Holds up broken foot. Root beer flavored gummies. I'm not sure if that would... I'm trying to remember the last time I had root beer flavored gummies. I don't remember what they taste like. I mean, root beer, I assume, but... Also, glad to see that Dina has her Pride thumbnail up. I did it purely to piss off that one guy. Who's probably not even here. Speaking of DS9 and Thomas Riker, I love the reveal that it's Thomas, not Will, is him removing the sideburns to show a goatee when Thomas Riker didn't have a goatee in the TNG episode. Yeah, that was pretty silly. It was a good episode overall, but that reveal was kind of silly, the way it was handled. Goatee equals evil. Equals that's not Thomas Riker. I wish Riker had a second brother named Frank Lee, just so their dad could say Will, Tom, Frank Lee, or WTF. Oh, God. Season 5 TNG Conundrum. I'd say don't give me the Star Trek crap, but it's actually pretty late in the evening. Yeah. Middle of the afternoon for me. Apparently Patrick Stewart does a pretty good Worf impression. I've never heard that. Hi, Flash. I know that Brent Spiner does a really good Patrick Stewart impression. In an interview after First Contact, he quoted, "If you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand." Of course, Data had a soul, and it was a very sweet soul. Yeah. Odie had his walk, and we've just had a playtime session. Aw. That's why Spot loved him so much. Yeah, Spot had good taste. When Jadzia Dax dying almost made me hate DS9. That really sucked that they killed her off. Worf also had a trope named after him. Yep, I mentioned it. I mentioned it in that episode I just talked about. The Worf effect. One of my favorite Worf moments was when Q turned up powerless and Picard ordered Worf to escort him to the brig. With pleasure, sir. Frog marches Q off the bridge. Yeah, I saw that episode recently, and Worf had said a really good line where Q said, like, I'm not immortal anymore. What can I do to prove it to you? And Worf said, die. It was so funny. I wish that we could get crossover episodes of US shows and shows from other nations. The UK, Canada, and Australia do it with some shows. Let's join the party. That could be fun. I rage quit Picard Season 1 for spoilery reasons about the writing. I considered powering through it to see if Season 2 was good, and then I saw the post-modern jukebox scene, and I don't know if I remember that. Season 2 was hit or miss, but I thought it was at least better than Season 1. It started off really good, and then it kind of tapered off, but... It handled Q really well, so... Surprisingly enough, root beer gummies taste like cucumbers. Weird. Apparently Season 3 is amazing, but I won't find out for a while because I'm still mad at Season 1. Oh, well. What's good about Picard is that the later seasons kind of ignore the previous seasons, so you could just start watching Season 3 and, like, they'll mention stuff that happened in Season 1, but you don't really have to have watched the previous seasons to understand it. Understand what's going on. I still haven't seen any Picard. I keep meaning to watch it, but then I still haven't watched DS9 either. Oh my god. Special Iron, you need to watch DS9. You also need to watch Breaking Bad. Oh yeah, that guy seemed a bit obsessed with your thumbnail, didn't he? He acted like it wasn't his fault. Like, well, Moonbeam commented on it, so I had to do it too. And it's like, no, you really didn't. Like he wasn't the one who started it. Any videos in my YouTube suggested video sidebar. Watch Party Red Dwarf vlogs. Part 5, Let's Color Some Cybercat Art 2023. Part 2, The Game Den, Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill Part 2, and Red Dwarf Vlogs Legion. Prestigious group. There's a lot of variety in there, isn't there? Fun fact, Michael Dorn pitched his voice down for Worf so long, his normal speaking voice was permanently altered to be deeper. I think I've heard that could happen. Twin Peaks premiered today back in 1990. Wow. I tried watching Twin Peaks when it was new, but I couldn't really get into it. I think I just wasn't quite ready for that show back then. But I went back and finally watched it like about a decade ago, and I did like it, so. Honestly, if Dina hadn't even pointed it out, I wouldn't have even noticed the rainbow. I think most normal people probably wouldn't notice, or maybe they'd sort of notice but not care. I tuned out of Picard during Season 1. Thought the Zatvash? I don't remember them. Were stupid villains, didn't like the needlessly mean-spirited tone. Killing Hugh, yeah. Careful about the spoilers, not everyone has seen it, but yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like the way they killed the characters, and apparently, since I never really seriously watched Voyager, it was kind of lost on me when they killed off a certain character from there. Apparently it pissed off a lot of Voyager fans, though. Has anyone seen the... Whoops. There we go. Has anyone seen the new Mario movie yet? Me and my daughter watched it yesterday. It was quite fun. I have not. Seems like critics hate it, but fans like it, so... It's probably, I imagine it's probably fine, but not, you know, groundbreaking or whatever. Do you think Q and Discord are the same character or friends who would hang out in their spare time? I did have sort of a headcanon that Q was, Discord was Q, but I kind of like stopped feeling that way when Discord was, became a good guy. Reformed, that's the word I was trying to think of, when he was reformed. Wasn't there also a scene where Guinan stabbed him in the hand with a fork? Oh, yeah. Guinan really didn't like Q. Season 2 of Picard was better. Yeah, it was. I don't begrudge dark Star Trek, but there are better ways of handling it. Even Discovery handled it better most of the time. I haven't seen any new Trek other than Picard. I don't have Discovery Plus, so Picard is the only one I make an exception for as far as, you know, getting the episodes a different way. I think that's why Worf and Sisko got along so well. Q was on the station. Yep. How did Captain Sisko handle it? Here's the story. Are you crying? It's a beautiful story. Hypilla, I think that's how to say her name. I remember you told me last week. I just don't exactly remember. Season 3 is pretty exciting, but many cliffhangers. Yeah, it's hard watching it weekly. Here I am, whose knowledge of Star Trek doesn't extend beyond Dina's Red Dwarf vlogs and Discord being voiced by Q. Pride flag guy was so weird, yeah. I don't normally use the word triggered, but yeah, that was clearly him. I thought we were supposed to be the fragile ones. I know, that's the funny part. Pissed me off. Oh, you're talking about the death of that one character in season 1 of Picard. Yeah, I didn't like that scene anyway because it was so like I don't exactly watch Star Trek for the torture porn. Like that really caught me off guard, and I think the scene opened the episode opened with that. I was already like finding that kind of upsetting, and then I found out later that that was a character from Voyager. It's like, oops, yeah, that wasn't cool of them to do that. People who make fun of others for being triggered for some stuff are often triggered a lot for something like the pride flag. Yep. Oh yeah, Werewolf by Night was pretty good. I'd forgotten about that. Not groundbreaking, but it's fun if you're a fan. Yeah, I figure it's probably on a similar level as the Sonic movies. I have never watched Our Flag Means Death. What, is that on? I don't even remember what streaming, platform that's on. I've only heard about it. Excuse me. The scene stealer was Jack Black as Bowser. Yeah, Bowser, I could see that. I hear torture porn and my mind goes to Saw and Grimdark, My Little Pony, not Star Trek. Yeah. Yeah, Star Trek being kind of dark is fine, but that was like, whoa, where did this come from? Oh, HBO Max. I actually have HBO Max, but I don't use it very much. Gay pirate romantic comedy. I've heard that about it. It's 3 hours to watching the D&D movie for the third time. Wow. Speaking of torture porn, do we have to? Speaking of torture porn, remember way back when I mentioned that there was a Judas Cradle in Resident Evil 8? Yeah, I remember that discussion. I counted at least 6 of the buggers in Resident Evil 4 Remake. His therapist needs therapy. HBO Max gave us Velma. That's all I need to know to dislike this service. Yeah. Alright, back to Red Dwarf. Probably aren't going to get all the way through Season 12, but we'll just get as far as we can. Welcome to Season 12. It's weird to think that we're approaching the end of these Red Dwarf videos, or at least a hiatus. But here we go. We actually opened with Peter. Kat doing something hilarious.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where are our cards? You ain't getting any. Without cards, we can't win. Exactly.
He really doesn't get poker.
How many cards you want to change? None. Are you crazy? Have you never heard of a poker face? Huh?
If nothing else, the Cat videos for these last 2 seasons are going to be fun.
How many cards you want to change? 5.
The sight of Crichton looking on with his flowery pink apron and mixing bowl tickles me. Anyway, they're picking up a warning that a space station is nearby. So have an epic sequence where they start up Starbug for the first time this season.
Silky is the first day we got it.
So they're on their way to a research station.
America attempted to bring peace to the world by asking every nation on Earth to sign a peace treaty. Any nation that refused, they invaded. Now, a war ensued that was called the War Against War.
Honestly, that sounds like something we would do. I mean, we love to declare war on things. The war on terror, the war on drugs. Why not just have a war on war and be done with it?
Those countries who went to war to fight in a war against war called themselves United America.
Anyway, Starbug could use some fixing.
I'm sick of always having to turn left.
I'm sure some fans think it's hacky, but I really dig this running gag about Starbug basically being a big car. It just gets a chuckle out of me every time they do it. So the purpose of this research station was to cure evil.
Some people do terrible things, but not because they're evil. It's because they're mentally bonkers.
This gets Crichton on the topic of psychopaths.
Not all psychopaths kill, of course, sir.
I think that would be a sociopath, but what do I know?
But as a rule, they don't actually physically harm anyone.
May be wrong about that.
Well, many go into banking. Many others are CEOs, businessmen, lawyers, even politicians.
Anyway, they tested this cure on people who were considered to be evil, so some of them could be running around the station.
I want all the bazookoids, safeties off, ready to fire.
Well, all the bazookoids are back on Red Dwarf, sir.
Have we got any guns with us?
Just your staple gun, sir.
Fill her up.
They find cryo booths for Vlad the Impaler, Joseph Stalin, Messalina, and of course Adolf Hitler. You had to know one of them would be Hitler. Yeah. All labeled cured.
Rupert Murdoch, not responding to treatment.
So how did they get the bodies of these ancient people?
They tracked down their descendants with DNA regression technology, traveled back down the ancestral line via their mitochondrial DNA, and recreated them.
Okay, I've heard weirder explanations for things on this show.
Donald
Trump not responding to
treatment. I read this conspiracy
treatment.
book once, and it proposed the theory that at the end of the Second World War, Hitler killed his wife and his body double to make it look as if he committed suicide.
Oh, we're doing the whole historical figure may have actually had a double to die in his place theory again. There is a theory that Hitler might have had an illegitimate child, so they could have just mentioned that instead of bringing up a theory that's very similar to the Jesus and Judas one from Lemons.
The story went that when he reached Argentina, he had kids there.
We get an explanation of Messalina, since she's probably a lesser-known figure from this group.
The third wife of the Roman Emperor Claudius, possibly the most depraved, brutal, and murderous nymphomaniac in history.
Well, according to that Caligula movie and its sequel, at least. Anyway, the theory goes that what causes people to be evil is a misfiring gene that turns off empathy, which can apparently be turned back on. Meanwhile, Rimmer finds another cryo booth.
Professor Shaw Telford.
Hey, this one's empty.
Indeed it is. Your arrival here automatically triggered the cryo booths to release mode.
Good entrance. Love this creepy lighting. But yeah, actually all of the booths have been released.
Come.
Hi, baby girl.
Join us for lunch.
I'm with Lister. This is gonna be interesting. Now we get to meet all of them.
Joseph Stalin.
Call me Joe.
Adolf Hitler.
Please call me Dolphy. No, mein Führers, that's the old me.
Messalina.
Call me Dolphy.
Anytime.
Nah,
Hi, Jackie.
Appetizers.
Yeah, Hitler is definitely the highlight of this episode. What a goofball. Glad the Impaler was running late.
Are you on your own, or is there a Mrs. the Impaler?
I love that he thinks that was a joke and doesn't realize that Cat really is that dumb. Lister figures there must have been other scientists and asks what happened to them. Turns out that he and his patients were the only survivors after an attack.
Why would they try to eliminate you?
A cure for evil would mean an end to war.
An end to war would mean no.
Yeah, the swastika's a smiley
there
face.
Would be no one to
I don't remember if I point that out That's or a not. good point, actually. War is profitable.
Society wouldn't work anymore.
Also, Vlad is eating off a skewer. Nice detail there.
So they marooned us here with no hope of getting back to Earth.
But Hitler's not going to have any more of this depressing talk.
To new friends.
New friends?
Selfie.
I just noticed how he's holding the phone. And there's my thumbnail. Come on, what other shot was I going to use? The look on the dwarfers' faces, though, especially Crichton. Also Vlad. The rest of them are just smiling pleasantly, but he's just like, hey. Later on, I mentioned Lister's jacket last season. We get a really great shot of it here. Hitler notices it too.
But I just totally adore your jacket. Where did you buy it?
I bought it in a second-hand shop on Mimas, then I painted it myself.
Confirmed that Lister was the one who painted it. It was just kind of implied before now.
Your use of saturated color to celebrate the counterculture spirit of the piece is so chic and fun.
I've got some stuff to say about Hitler that I'm going to save until the recap. But for now, I'll just say that the way they depict him is interesting. He is also artistically inclined, but now he just plays guitar.
Town. I play guitar.
You are shizing me. We should do it sometime.
You are shizing
I can't jam with you, okay?
Oh, poor Dolphy. God damn it, why do they have to make Hitler so damn adorable?
It's because I'm Hitler, isn't it?
Great, now I want to hug Hitler.
So I'm sure now. Maybe I am.
Thanks, Red Dwarf.
I can't jam with you, because
Thanks, Red Dwarf.
I got a bunch of guitars in my quarters.
Now he's doing devil horns. God damn it. Meanwhile, Messalina just tries to make friends with Cat, but not in the way that he thinks.
God, the guy playing Hitler is
Again,
so good.
saving it for the Cat video. For now, just take my word that it's adorable.
I like to go wandering.
Speaking of adorable, Lister and Hitler performing The Happy Wanderer, which is appropriate since it was originally in German. When did Lister get so good at playing the guitar, though? Maybe Hitler's playing is mostly drowning his out, and that's mostly what we're hearing. Either way, this scene is cute as hell. Look at him go.
You like how I can totally believe that Hitler can play the guitar, but not Lister. I don't think I even thought about that when I said that.
Lister, can I have a word?
Rimmer doesn't approve.
Before you know it, he'll have you in Lederhosen playing Tomorrow Belongs to Me.
I mean, it's Hitler. I think there are worse things you could be worried about. Anyway, what they came to warn him about is that they're approaching a protoplanet that they're about to collide with, so they need to head out as soon as a sandstorm ends. And Rimmer, being Rimmer, suggests that they don't tell their hosts about it.
So you're suggesting that we just walk away from here and leave them to die?
No, I'm suggesting we leg it from here and leave them to die.
But Lister and Cat have apparently been drugged, and Crichton and Rimmer have been hacked, and they both shut down. Sometime later, Rimmer wakes up in a box.
Hey, Hitler. How could anything be worse than this?
Wow, way to go. Lister wakes up about to be castrated by a machine. Damn. Cat's about to drown, but he's got real problems.
Not my clothes! They're dry clean only!
And
Crichton's head is on a, well, probably a mop, but it looks like a pike.
Hello? How am I gonna mop up ever again?
Lister escapes and finds Crichton's body, then his head. Poor Cat's really about to drown. And it turns out that Rimmer is in the garbage chute.
That's the last time I ever trust a psychopath.
Afterwards, they find the doctor is unconscious.
We've been looking for you everywhere.
It's pretty obvious who they suspect of doing all this.
Whoever buried me alive left this behind. A Hitler.
It's not possible. There's an Andy Hitler or an Ainsley Hitler.
Okay, that was an interesting way to work in a reference to Ainsley Harriott. I'm sure he's thrilled about that. Now I'm reminded of what else AH stands for. So Crichton has a psychopathy scanner and wants to use it on all of them. They
Will no
agree
one
on
think
the
of
condition
Cat's
that it
clothes?
gets used on the dwarfers as well.
Everybody gets tested.
It turns out there is one psychopath among them.
They display greatly reduced empathy, no remorse, and a massive sense of self-worth.
Which one of them is it?
It's you, sir.
Of course.
I can't believe they haven't mentioned handsome.
But it turns out that there's a second one.
It's Professor Telf.
Not only does he not need a wheelchair, it turns out that the formerly evil people were droids. Crichton asks who he really is, and here comes the villain speech.
I brain-hacked entire populations and made them attack themselves before my arrest and execution.
You were the patient. They were the scientists trying to cure you.
Did it strike you as curious that Hitler didn't really look very much like Hitler?
I love that they acknowledge that. It's hard to miss, but I figured the casting was just rule of funny. Speaking of, he intended to escape in Starbug while they were captured, but he couldn't get it to start.
It must have some special ignition sequence. What is it?
But he thinks he can get Cat to help him.
The cat has no fidelity to anyone but himself.
Oh, fuck you, dude.
We're the posse. Boys from the dwarf.
Boys from the dwarf callback.
I'll give you anything that you want.
Sounds good. You heard him. I have no fidelity.
Well, in that case, sir, why be on his side? Be on ours.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, Cat is ready to join whichever side is being the most generous.
They're not going to be giving you anything because pretty soon they're going to be dead.
No, wait. I'm with you. I'll get to do it.
Can I trust you?
I'm a psychopath, ain't I? You and me both.
Okay, this might be the best ending.
How was that for a pokey face, huh?
Pokey face.
It's poker face. I only have to know how to do it, not say it.
So ends Cured. I've gotten a lot of comments about how season 12 is the worst thing ever, but I liked this episode a lot at least. We'll see how the others hold up.
Hi,
For one
Taijan.
thing, it's almost a cat episode in disguise. Hell, it's more of a cat episode than Can of Worms was. So I'm automatically gonna love it for that, as long as he's well represented, which he was. Also, Hitler, that was a thing. It's kind of interesting that they have him being kind of gay-coded, meaning he acts flamboyant and sassy. Basically, he comes across as stereotypically gay. I wonder if that was inspired by a theory that the real Hitler was gay. Most historians think it's bullcrap, and it probably is, but that theory did gain a little traction for a while. There was even a recurring gay
Get outta here, gay
character on
Hitler.
Saturday Night Live, played by Chris Kattan during that time. So I kind of wonder if that theory inspired the way Hitler was portrayed here. By the way, it's unfortunate that this video is going up during Pride Month, but it wasn't intentional. So yeah, Hitler was adorable, so I guess I should be glad he turned out to not be Hitler. Even if that's a little too reminiscent of Lemons, which was definitely the better episode, but oh well. Either way, I got curious about the actor who played him, so I looked him up. He's mostly a Shakespearean theater actor and hasn't been in anything I've seen. But apparently he did play Ted Bundy in a miniseries once, so that's kind of funny. Especially since he doesn't look like him either. Either way, I loved him in this. He's got the biggest smile I've ever seen on anyone. So I guess that's about all I have to say about this one. It was really cute, and other than it being a little too similar to Lemons in a couple ways, I have no complaints. Next up is Siliconia. See you then.
They found his head impaled on a stake.
So somebody's head winds up impaled on a stake, so it's automatically got to be Vlad the Impaler?
I didn't give Vlad enough credit. He was really funny in this too. He just didn't have as many lines as Hitler, but he did just as well, I think. Jack Black and Jack Russell are both being talked about. America has built their love of war as a stereotype. Yeah, unfortunately. Was that Spock saying pure energy? I didn't realize that was, That's funny. I've heard that song a million times. I didn't realize that was a clip of Spock. Or maybe I knew and forgot. Boris Johnson not responding to treatment. Poor Ryan Gage, he finishes playing the most annoying character in the Hobbit films, and then his agent bags him the role of Hitler. Well, I guess he was proud of that role, because I remember coming across his Twitter, and he had an image of him as Hitler in the you know. Not as his avatar, but the banner. That's the word I'm trying to think. I was trying to say border, but it wasn't. I knew that wasn't right. That guy who didn't like Dina's thumbnail not responding to treatment. Join us for lunch sounds like Legion. Oh yeah. Best line, it's because I'm Hitler, isn't it? Season 6 finale? With the old versions of the Dwarfers? Who would have ever thought it was possible to make Hitler look cute? And I can't believe I actually reached the point in my life where I would ever say that. Trust me, I know the feeling. Only Red Dwarf would Hitler is adorable be a normal sentence. Even there, it sounds weird. Excuse me. Apparently they originally wanted Toto's Africa, but the band didn't clear it because Hitler. That's right. I remembered there was another song they wanted to use. I didn't remember that was it, though. Excuse me. Sorry. Despite the fact that the Wanderer song existed before Nazis, I always associate it with Nazis because the first time I ever heard it was being by a bunch of drunk Nazis at the start of Schindler's List. Being lectured by the guy who simped after Napoleon Bonaparte in Better Than Life. Mostly picked because it was a public domain song. That makes sense. Oh, sorry. I've ran out of the Crystal Light that has caffeine in it. grumpy old men from the Dwarf. Cat did indeed save the day. Also, Linkard did a video on the dumbest evil plans. Twin clones of Hitler was one of them. Yep. Of course. Don't you know anything about science? Why would you want to make one clone of Hitler? We do not claim Hitler. Hard pass. Signed, gays. Technically, there's a they were gay theory for almost everyone in history. That's probably true about there being a theory, not... Yeah. Saying, I'll fade off Hitler. Yeah, the sample from the song was Leonard Nimoy. It blew my mind as a teenager. Yeah. I feel like I knew at some point it was him. It sounds a bit familiar, but I guess I forgot. I think it's really cool that the guy who was the, you know, the guy who was the lead singer in that band went on to make the soundtrack for the Soul Reaver games. Kurt Hartland, that's his name. I know, Teeny Terra. There was a small pro wrestling organization in this area which has a gay Hitler character. It was done in a fun way that wasn't offensive and would make people laugh. That's kind of funny. Tara demands attention. God, does she ever. And she is a terror, yeah. I've definitely called her Tara the Terror before. Alright. Oh yeah, Siliconia. I think this was a good episode, at least a mostly good episode. See if there was anything about it I didn't like. I feel like maybe there was, but I don't remember now. It's been a while.
Welcome to the 69th episode of Red Dwarf. Nice. We open on everyone making demands on Crichton. Well, more so than usual. He's working on ironing Cat's shirt. Rimmer wants him to mop B-Deck.
I can hardly see my face in it.
Blessing, some would say. I'm on it right now, sir.
Good one.
Lister needs a beer.
I'm rather busy right now. Could you possibly get it yourself?
Wow. Anyway, there's some kind of alert.
Well, is it? Do you want to walk over here and see for yourself? Or should I perhaps unscrew the monitor and bring it over to the sofa?
Oh god, he's actually doing it. Oh, hey, Lister's guitar from 2 seasons ago. I nearly forgot that he flushed it out of the airlock while drunk to punish his son, who is himself.
Sorry to disturb your rimmering, sir.
Rimmering.
If you want to see me, check with my diary. I can possibly squeeze you in tomorrow week.
Can't I see you now, sir?
Impossible, my schedule's full.
But I'm here right now, seeing you, sir.
Now, if you can just stand aside, your badly stacked Jenga head is casting a shadow.
Okay, that's a new Crichton has a funny shaped head insult. Anyway, Crichton eventually gets to tell Rimmer about finding Lister's guitar.
You found it? I can just picture Mr. Lister's face, sir. Soon the whole ship will be full of his music. The song.
There's a throwback.
Baby, don't be ovulating
Won't be the last one, unfortunately.
Crichton, are you deranged?
A little, yeah. He has to put up with you.
Sir, it's not what we think. It's the pleasure it brings him.
Honestly, I can see both sides of this debate. Anyway, Rimmer orders Crichton to not tell Lister about finding his guitar.
Understood, sir. Mr. Lister, sir. Great news!
Stick it to the man, Crichton.
No more having to make do with a colander.
Lister is nothing if not creative. But anyway, the only reason Rimmer is here is to keep an eye on Crichton. He doesn't like him thinking for himself.
It's entirely your fault for teaching him how to break his programming.
It's a pair of golfing slacks. I've still got it, sir.
Nice callback to Camille.
It's a small off-duty Czechoslovakian traffic warden.
So they've approached the guitar. Now it's just a matter of retrieving it. I don't know what I was expecting.
If you miss out, get next go.
But Starbug gets a taste of its own medicine. Claw gag aside, the sheer size of that ship makes this bit a little unsettling. Anyway, they board the ship and...
Drop your weapons, unless you want to hear the sound of a breaking neck.
It turns out that it's run by mechanoids like Crichton.
Not you, my friend.
I get it, they're like mechanoid Black Panthers.
We are the Mechanoid Intergalactic Liberation Front.
MILFs?
Also, silly acronyms are kind of a staple of this show, aren't they?
Committee for the Liberation and Integration of Terrifying Organisms and their Rehabilitation into Society. One drawback with that, the abbreviation is clitoris.
So Crichton is taken to a spa of some kind. Check out this Mech's Health magazine with an ad on the back for the Museum of Sanitation. There are a lot of mechanoids. I think
Mech
we knew where
Panther.
most of the budget for this season went.
On our great journey to the fabled land of Siliconia, where all machines are free. I am Wind. This is Unity, Eagle, Oak.
Anyway, they've been looking for Crichton so they can liberate him from what they call slavery.
Do you prepare their meals morning?
Christians rallying against propaganda.
So yeah, we can see where this is going. Basically, Crichton describes everything he does for the other dwarfers for no reward of any kind.
But they treat me so well. I have my own cupboard within walking distance of a corridor.
Do they make jokes about your head shape?
When you look like someone who's thrust his head into a hive without a bee hat, what do you expect?
And addresses them with terms of respect.
And do you respect them?
Well, no, not all of them. Perhaps one, sometimes, maybe. I serve them. It is my purpose, and I'm happy to do so.
Have you heard of Stockholm Syndrome?
Well, I didn't expect him to bring up Stockholm Syndrome, but,
I will help you break this bond, and you will see
Yeah,
these
that is a
brutes
good
for what they
acronym.
really are. People you should despise.
Meanwhile, the rest of the dwarfers
Fathers
are being
Against
taken
Rude
to
Television.
a room for recalibration.
What about Asimov's first law?
What, tampons should not be flushed into space, but deposited in the receptacle provided?
And there's another callback.
May I remind you of Space Corps Directive 34124?
No officer with false teeth should attempt oral sex in zero gravity.
Not a Space Corps directive, but same idea.
No droid can harm a human, or through inaction, allow a human or his cohorts to come to harm.
One day you'll all die. If we do nothing, by our inaction, we are in breach of the first law.
Interesting loophole they found.
Send in their new bodies.
Got a Crichton of filers.
Anyway, their minds are transferred to the mech bodies against their will, which is kinda dark. Cats doesn't take as long.
That's a cute gag.
By the way, I love that they bothered to make the mech bodies in the dwarfers' images down to Cat's canines.
I've got a stupid fat pink head. You've always had a stupid fat pink head.
Their punishment is to do all of the things they had Crichton doing naturally.
The one formerly known as Lister will begin by making 1,245 sugar puff sandwiches, grilled with cheese.
Sounds like something Lister would eat.
Mop floors to the length equivalent of walking from New York to Los Angeles. Iron and press 2,000 flouncy pirate shirts.
You only sucker ass serving me.
Yeah? Break your little finger.
Again, that's a little disturbing, actually.
Defiance is, well, impossible.
Meanwhile, Crichton is in a talk therapy group with other robot slave survivors.
My name's Incense.
Notice they all have flower child names like Wind, Tree, and Incense, but this guy's name is Excalibur.
My name's Eagle. I was a service mech to a really lazy master who relied on me for everything. And he always made jokes about my head shape.
Has anyone else had that? Their crew making jokes about their head shape?
Yeah, the creator of this line of mechanoids was kind of a bitch for making them look that way, if you think about it.
We don't have funny shaped heads. Our heads are sensibly shaped.
Tell it like it is, Excalibur. Anyway, he encourages Crichton to talk about his experiences.
Sometimes when I'd be backing, Mr. Lister wouldn't pick up his feet and I'd have to back all around them.
I think we should all give Crichton a big round of applause, don't you? He's made a lot of progress.
Yeah, he's not used to being told he's done a good job. Meanwhile, the other dwarfers are doing all they're supposed to, but Rimmer and Lister are starting to enjoy it.
I feel so calm and tranquil.
I'm rather enjoying making these sandwiches too, I must confess. I think I'm getting the hang of this.
And now Cat is too.
Odd. I've suddenly started to believe in Siliconia.
And now we get to hear Chris Berry's Crichton impression. But Lister is still aware of what's going on.
Our individual personalities are fading away. We have to escape and get our bodies back. Crichton, goodness knows what they're doing to him.
There's some old school Red Dwarf music. And the other dwarfers have escaped by dismantling themselves, putting the parts through the bars, and rebuilding themselves on the other side. Okay. And Rimmer betrays them, so he hasn't changed too much.
I like being a mechanoid. I don't have to become an officer anymore. Compete with my brothers. That acid ball of resentment I carried around with me the whole time. It's gone. I don't want to be me. I want to be a mechanoid.
That actually makes a weird kind of sense. Rimmer doesn't want to be Rimmer.
Sometimes when I was young, I'd sit for hours staring at our fish tank, feeling envious. They'd never know what it was like to fail and disappoint.
Wow, that's worse than Lister with the squirrel.
You've got no woman's trouble, so you'll never feel as bad as I feel now. And at that moment, for a split second, I would have given anything to swap places with him.
Funny how Rimmer mocked him for that.
Behind closed doors, you parade up and down with a strap-on bushy tail, calling yourself Nutkin.
Also, didn't Rimmer once say something about being a fish before?
He walked in there, wrote, I am a fish, 400 times, a funny little dance and fainted.
Now there's an obscure callback.
Let your old lives go, sirs. Join me and become a MILF.
So the other two make the decision to leave Rimmer behind.
Join me and become a MILF.
Anyway, they bump into some more mechs.
Can I help you? Oh, you're new. Yeah, no, we're not supposed to talk to you.
Why do they keep you down here slaving away when you're the same as them?
Now Cat's talking like Crichton. I love it. Yeah, it turns out that these mechs are a slightly less advanced model, so they're forced to work in the lower levels.
But you've got features that they haven't.
No, they're superior in every way. No, we don't even get to Siliconia, do we? No. Not that we believe in any of that nonsense down here.
So Lister loses his hand for, what, the 4th time?
Join us, or die.
That was kind of creepy. Now Cat's personality is gone, leaving only Lister. Looking at these guys, I can see where they saved on some of the budget. Crichton is about to become a full-fledged MILF, and he gets his hat.
We just hosed him down and gave him a hat.
Just before Lister shows up.
I'm no longer your slave bot.
Who tells Crichton that he was never a slave.
You're our science officer, our cook, my mum, and most of all, my friend. Crichton, you're no MILF. You're one of the boys from the dwarf.
Boys from the dwarf call back, again already. The ones chasing Lister show up, and he tells Crichton about the slaves in the engine room.
Someone has to do the grunt work. Take him away and prepare him.
Lister's punishment is to be put in gladiatorial combat.
Wait, I've made the most terrible mistake. I stopped thinking for myself.
Crichton finally realizes he belongs with the crew and wasn't a slave.
Who just happens to do all the smeggy jobs.
He should be punished, sir.
Meanwhile, Rimmer gets a promotion.
He's fully recalibrated.
Welcome to the Cleanuseum.
So the fight begins, which is really more of a mop-off, where the winner will get to stay, but the loser will get flushed out the airlock. A lot of that happened in these last few seasons, it seems.
What on earth are we going to do?
And Lister is finally gone as well.
Prepare to be cleaned.
He sounds more like Season 2 Crichton. I guess Craig Charles can't do an American, Canadian, whatever the hell accent Crichton has, so they went with that.
Let the cleanup begin.
We don't want to clean you.
Oh, I guess they're supposed to clean each other and not the floor. Okay.
Now I realize I want to help you.
The Cleanuseum.
I care.
This goes on a while, but it's cute. And Crichton is losing. They're about to execute him when they get interrupted.
Siliconia.
Diva droid update station. Everyone gets upgraded, including the droids in the lower deck, so they're all equal now.
Upgrade refused. Come this way.
Meanwhile, Crichton orders the other dwarfers to follow him to the
Crichtonian accent.
And they're off. Afterwards, Crichton has a conversation with Wind, who was leader with the MILFs, and Rusty, who is in charge of the lower decks, and are now working together.
Yeah, there's a million smudges out there, Crichton, and our squeegees are loaded.
The universe is going to be a much cleaner place.
Sir.
Crichton has fixed Lister's guitar, while Lister has brought him a drink.
Where are you going? B-deck, the airlock. Which one? The soundproof one, sir.
And so ends Siliconia. This was a fun episode. It wasn't terribly deep, which honestly goes for most of seasons 11 and 12. I mean, everyone is giving Crichton orders, so they're shown what it's like to be on the receiving end of that. And presumably give Crichton a little more respect afterwards. Pretty simple and straightforward. But that's fine. It was neat seeing the whole cast in Crichton makeup and eventually even doing his voice. It's kind of gimmicky, I guess, but fun. I also get a kick out of how it's pretty much exactly the opposite of DNA, where Crichton became human. In fact, that's where Lister wishing he was a squirrel came from.
Oh, yeah.
Really, the concept of having your mind transferred to a weird-looking robot against your will,
Hi, George.
while your personality slowly fades away until you're nothing but a mindless slave, could be pretty horrific. But naturally, it's mostly played for laughs. I guess that's about all I have to say about this one. The humor was great, and I appreciated all the callbacks. But yeah, that's about all I can think of to say.
That's your lot.
Next up is
That's your lot.
Timewave. See you then.
Oh no, Timewave. Let's rip that band-aid off.
Does this mean I have to stop mopping the floor? Oh, bother.
Oh, bother. Alright. British comedian Sean Locke had a running joke of casually bringing up Hitler in the middle of panel shows. One of his jokes is reanimating Hitler and all the Nazis and putting them on a remote island and filming them trying to survive. Did you once say that Lee likes to call her Terra Bear? Yeah, he calls her Terra Bear. In space, no one can hear you play music. I forgot he once flushed it out of the airlock to punish his son, who is his son. Quote, "The Red Dwarf can make you say." Yeah. In space, no one can hear a 10-thumb, tone-deaf, talentless noise polluter. Excuse me. He kept waving a banana in front of me and calling it a female aardvark. Excuse me, jeez. Oh yeah, I remember Jay saying I'm the Clit Commander. I can't remember what it was an acronym for though. I saw someone unloading a claw machine off a truck using a crane. They almost made it but dropped it at the last second. Oops. I have The Wanderer on an 80-ish year old record. Wow, it's a German song, and as you say, in the public domain, it's pretty appropriate for Hitler and Lister to play, yeah. It makes sense. It's a song that both of them would know, so... Granada Television years ago was meant to be called Scottish Highlands and Islands Television until someone pointed out the acronym. So the high mechanoids are hypocrites, yep. Lister has had as many amputations as Darth Vader. Damn it, refreshed. It's funny how Kat had trouble using an iron even though he used one before the Crichton character came into the show. Well, maybe he forgot. Insert Star Trek fight music here. That would have been a good gag. Too bad I didn't think of that. We're taking my 2-year-old nephew on an Easter egg hunt today. His first, I think. Oh, that's cute. Caddis Crichton is haunting. It is a bit. I got loads of eggs and chocolate bunnies, but then some half-wit started talking to me about some guy who died thousands of years ago, but then resurrected. What has that got to do with Easter? That reminds me of a line. Oh, what was the name of that comedian that apparently got outed for stealing people's jokes, but fuck, what was his name? Carlos Mencia? Was that his name? Anyway, he said this one line. Again, he may have stolen it, but whatever. He was the one I heard it from, where he's talking about how, Easter doesn't make sense, and like, Jesus is coming, hide the eggs. Like they're hiding the eggs from Jesus. Anyway, it was funny. Terra Bear is cute. Yeah, that does sound cute, doesn't it? He also sometimes says bear full of terras. Like he imagines a bear that's just like full of, well, yeah. And the bear explodes and all these little terras fly out. Lee's weird like that. That half-wit had the gall to blame my sins for his death when I wasn't even born yet. Dean and her hiccups. I know. My freaking doctor even gave me medication for my heartburn. It's like it isn't doing shit. Granted, the fact that I'm eating chili every day might not be helping. Good Friday is good because it's Friday. Also watched Exorcist 1 and 3 just for the fun of it. I haven't watched any of the Exorcist movies in a long time. Speaking of Ash, I'm going to try to watch Army of Darkness tonight. Army of Darkness is pretty good, but I think Evil Dead 2 is the best in that trilogy. Scared Dina, okay, the next Silent Hill game is based on the movies and the snow is now Ash. Oh my god. Mortal Mop Combat. Okay, George, thanks for stopping by. What would you pick as a weapon, mop or broom? I feel like broom would work a little bit better. Like, it has stiff bristles on it. It's probably be more painful. Finish him so he does. He sprays him with finished furniture polish. Got outed for stealing other people's jokes. That's me, isn't it? Tara wearing a bear costume. Oh, that'd be cute. And the bear explodes and all these terrorists come out. Dina 2023. It was Lee's idea. I was just repeating it. Well, he's 2D. He's bound to have an effect on his mind sometimes. Bear exploding with cats, that's horrific. A baby cat person being pulled out of a giant quipper in the D&D movie was traumatic. This is much, much worse. Okay. Who asked for food more, Solar Terra? It actually depends. Tara bugs me for wet food every morning. Soul doesn't get wet food because he never wants it, but Tara bugs me for wet food every morning. But Soul's always the one who alerts me when the dry food bowl is empty. Or, half empty. Never waits until it's fully empty. You can't open the fridge in our house before Odie is at your feet puppying. Quiver is a type of fish. Or a quipper is a type of fish. Oh, okay. I was a little confused there. Okay, let's rip this Band-Aid off. Need some caffeine, damn it. I guess some sugar would help. Hang on, I'll be right back. I don't want the last Cadbury cream egg yet. I'm gonna eat chocolate chips on the stream. That's how classy I am. It's the only thing I have that has sugar in it, with the exception of the Cadbury cream eggs I bought, but I only have one left. I want to save it for tomorrow. We open on the Dwarfers having discovered an unnamed planet.
I humbly name
Not
this
to
moon
crickle that too much.
Rimmer.
Hey, one Rimmer world was more than enough. Hey, I think it's been a while since we saw the Rimmer salute.
To Rimmer, a moon rich in helium-7, the most valuable gas in the universe.
To Rimmer, so full of gas.
But Crichton chimes in with information about a solar storm coming in, so they won't be able to mine the planet.
It's rarer than an ungroped bottom at the BBC in the 1970s.
Oh yeah, we're getting off to a great start with this episode. After they leave, they find out that it wasn't a solar storm after all.
Looks like a big wibbly-wobbly tidal wave thing, and it's heading straight for us.
Once they're hit with it, Crichton figures out that it was a time wave. Title drop.
A time wave is created by an imploding black hole, causing space-time to contort into a series of waves. When the wave moves forward, artifacts from the past can be washed up into the present.
And now they have to avoid hitting any more. But due to that, they've encountered a ship from the 24th century.
And their ship possesses a faster-than-light drive.
And it's locked into a collision course with planet Rimmer.
Is planet Rimmer going to be okay?
The impact is likely to cause an explosion.
And kill planet Rimmer?
And kill everything in this vicinity.
Including planet Rimmer?
God damn it, just tell Rimmer you're gonna save his damn planet.
This mechanoid is reversing.
Okay, that's a cute gag. So they're on the way to boarding with the other ship, so Crichton gets the crew up to speed on some unusual laws there.
Well, on their ship, criticism is illegal.
A ship free of criticism, what a place that must be. And no one gets mocked or ridiculed.
That's what they say, but they'll never hold out after they meet you.
I can see why Rimmer would feel like he's had his fill of criticism.
You screw up and no one tells you. What good's that?
I know it's just kind of the norm on this show for Lister to be the voice of reason, but with how much he hates taking orders and especially doesn't like being criticized by Rimmer, I'm not sure it's in character for him to be in the criticism is good camp. Maybe as a lesson he learned at the end of the episode, but in the beginning? Then again, he has grown a lot over the series, so maybe he would have learned that lesson already. Anyway, Crichton reminds them that they can't be seen criticizing each other, which is going to be one hell of a task. Elon Musk's worst nightmare.
In that case, you better pack earplugs and 6 rolls of duct tape.
Crichton ends up pointing out that criticism can be bad when the one giving it is doing it to make themselves feel superior.
Too much dopamine is like taking cocaine, sir.
So people who criticize get high on criticism.
It seems they become addicted.
Well, criticism can be good, can't it? I mean, it forces people to become better.
Crichton mentions that Lister himself tends to ignore criticism, at least when it comes to his guitar playing.
You still utterly suck, sir.
Which gives me an idea of how I think this episode could have been handled better, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
So long, Plucker. Hello, Davy Three Chords.
Davy so when they get there, there's a lot of bad artwork on the walls.
Oh, God,
and
here we
bad
go.
performance poetry.
I am a fruit, a lovely fruit. Let me play the fruit.
And if you think this episode is hitting you over the head with this message already, boy, are you in for some pain.
My friends!
Duct tape on standby, sirs.
Okay, so this guy apologizes for not responding to their messages, but the ship is basically broken because people can do whatever they want on this ship. So those who are experts in one field are working in another one because they feel like it. Lister warns him about the planet they're about to collide with.
I love your accent. It is cuter than a kitten with a toilet roll.
Well, I wouldn't have worded it quite that way, but I agree that Lister has a cute accent. Though it's faded a bit over the years, I've noticed.
Now, let me take you along to our diner, and then I'm gonna hunt down our captain, okay? This way.
The Inconium crew are encouraged to express themselves without fear of scorn or ridicule. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
I mean, you can avoid criticizing the guy without doing things exactly the way he does. Though it's kind of cute seeing the dwarfers do this.
Hey, Bud, you should stick around. The arm song could go platinum here.
Good lord. As you probably know by now, I'm all for callbacks, but how have they managed to mention the Om song 2 episodes in a row this season? Once is unexpected.
Not gonna be the last
Twice,
either.
Especially so close together, is just lazy. Like, that's not the only song Lister has made up.
Dwindling, the kindling, all the indling. I love all that stuff.
Only 2 things that rhyme with Kachansky. I used up the Pansky twice.
So yeah, they had plenty of examples to pull from to make a gag about Lister's bad music. Of course, Rimmer likes it there.
No one cares if you're right or wrong, good or bad. Maybe they're onto something.
Keep in mind, he also felt at home at Era's headquarters. Now I wish I was watching that episode.
Back in the day, I misrepaired a drive plate and killed over 1,000 people. Now, in our culture, that sort of thing is really frowned upon.
Anyway, a waitress brings them food out of nowhere, and probably just out of force of habit, they tell her that they didn't order it. So now they're in trouble.
Are you criticising me?
No, he's not criticising you. I am. This food looks gross.
Now that was just dumb.
Let's get out of here.
East Island Head's right.
Easter Island Head, that's a new one. So they try to go back to Starbuck,
Easter
but are
Island
arrested by Crit Cop before they can leave the ship.
Good evening, sir.
Even officer?
Been doing any criticising this evening, sir?
I have to admit, I do like this actor. His name is Johnny Vegas, and he's been in a lot of BBC shows that I haven't seen.
Well, it's just that we had a report of some illegal castigation in the diner this evening, sir.
Apparently it was on his bucket list to be in an episode of Red Dwarf, so I guess one good thing came out of this.
A little bit of chiding, perhaps?
Seriously, though, this old-timey cop act is really cute.
You've got to read in the 95, sir. It means that your friend is way over the criticism limit, sir.
Wait a minute.
You're telling me to wait, sir?
Well, yes.
Implying that I'm going too fast and therefore criticising me.
Things get kind of tense, and Cat is already known for not being able to keep his mouth shut.
Cat is great in this bit.
I'm going to let you off with a caution.
Caution? How dumb is this guy?
He just totally lets loose on this guy.
Hey, Lieutenant Asshole.
Which I kind of love.
Lieutenant Asshole.
If you don't move your dumbass spaceship, we're gonna be flatter than your wife's droopy-ass titties.
So they're put in a cell they end up having to
Awful.
share with this Hannibal Lecter-looking guy.
All right, mate. How you doing?
Been better. I'll tell you that.
It turns out that he's serving a lifelong sentence for tutting.
I'm in the queue. In the canteen. Finally, I get to the front, and they say, "Sorry, love. We've just closed." So I go.
Okay, I kind of like this guy too. But they need to escape, and Crichton has an idea of how to blow the door open using some of the soil from the Rimmer planet that's on the bottom of Lister's boot with another chemical that Crichton just carries around, apparently.
Why do you collect isotope samples and keep them in your arm?
Why do you collect miniature Napoleonic soldiers and keep them in your locker?
You're weird.
Here goes the door.
Take me with you. I promise I'm no danger to the outside world anymore.
Predictable, but kind of cute.
See, society without criticism is
We
utterly...
don't know what it was like before.
So Crit Cop is back and mentions that no one was getting anything done before because all they did was argue. But now that there are laws against criticism...
Nobody could criticise the criticism law because it was illegal to criticise. Idiots!
Uh-oh.
God, I'm not done that, but hey, geez, that's not good.
Okay, ew. Anyway, he's about to let them go.
Oh, by the way, you are way too old to be wearing leather pants.
Nobody move.
And they're taken to the criticism extraction room.
Now you will no longer turn down opportunities for fear of failure or humiliation. You will only feel love for all things.
Rimmer tries to take control of the situation.
And protected as I am under Space Corps Directive 381286, Crichton, shut up.
I love that reference to the Space
That was
Corps
good.
Directives gag. So Rimmer ends up going first, and he tries to fight it.
My parents were lovely, wise, thoughtful, and supportive. Ah, my brother Howard, what an utter bastard!
But then ends up overloading it, naturally. And the extraction is kind of terrifying.
I'm Rimmer's inner critic.
Yikes.
You need me. I protect you.
That's some really good makeup for this show, too.
I hate you. You'd never let me take any risks ever.
Another complaint that could be made about this episode is that we explored Rimmer's psyche in just the last one. I mean, I like when the show does that, but in 2 episodes back to back?
Though I do kind of like that they defeat Rimmer's inner critic.
I stop you from making a fool of yourself.
But he's always making a fool of himself. Yeah. You're not doing a very good job, are you? Where were you when Rimmer was fixing that drive plate, wiped out the crew?
By criticizing it.
It failed. That's really horrible. It failed.
What have we learned, kids?
You achieved a positive end by using criticism to vanquish a foe.
Because you can't tar all criticism with one brush.
Jesus, My Little Pony is more subtle with its lessons, and it's for 6-year-olds. Anyway, Ziggy repeals the law against criticism and lets the dwarfers go.
I'll request our engineers simply return to their jobs, and then we'll be out of here in a brief contraction of forward space.
Later on, he's trying to think of a way to thank them.
For you. It's my finest work.
Oh, don't take this the wrong way, but, it's not that good, to be honest.
To be fair, you really shouldn't criticize a gift.
I repeal the law. Critics!
And we made it through Timewave. Okay, so I actually don't totally hate this episode. It's really not a bad premise. Some of the jokes are funny in my opinion, and I liked Crit Cop and the Tutter. But unfortunately, it really hits you over the head with its message. I mean, Red Dwarf doesn't tend to be subtle per se, but this one really kind of treats its audience like they're idiots. Also, maybe they didn't intend this, but I think it's kind of a bad look the way they made everything overly colorful with pink uniforms, down to one guy looking like he's straight out of a pride parade, i.e. there are some exaggerated gay stereotypes here, and I don't know that it's even offensive. If nothing else, it's just lazy. Speaking of, wouldn't it make more sense if a ship full of people not allowed to criticize each other just became really lazy? I think it'd be funnier if they encountered basically a ship full of listers who just lay around eating curry and playing the guitar badly and such. I think that'd be kind of an amusing commentary on who Lister is, and I mentioned earlier that I wasn't sure if Lister would be in the criticism is good camp, and this would be a good way to get him there. Maybe seeing all these people who exhibit all his negative traits makes him take a harder look at himself. Of course, it probably wouldn't stick, but it'd make for some good temporary character growth. But yeah, as it is, this episode kind of comes across like it's based on a conversation had by grumpy old people complaining about millennials these days in their safe spaces. I mean, if nothing else, South Park beat them to that message 3 years before. So yeah, I hadn't mentioned this before, but seasons 11 and 12 were all done together, and it really shows with this one. It wasn't all bad, but it really could have done with some rewrites. Though it is kind of funny that the episode that tries to condone criticism is the one that gets the most of it. Congratulations, I guess. Next up is Mechocracy. See you then.
In the same spirit of...
Whoops.
In the same spirit of benevolence, I've also graciously agreed to lend my name to the star this moon orbits, which from this moment on shall be known as Sunny Rim.
Sunny Rim. Oh my god, wait a minute. Oh, I went too far back. Did I not? Oh, there it is. Technically, this is the third Rimmer world after Simoon. Actually, that episode was called Terraform. Or the, yeah, I guess you mean the Simoon. You're not saying the title necessarily. The funny thing is, I used to think that episode was called Rimmer World.
How long would YouTube critics last? That would explain all the YouTube grifters, yep. Hugh Grant when promoting the D&D movie. There is a very nice fish that eats babies or something. Me, I'm sold. You know, it'd be way funnier if the crew consisted of obnoxious incels instead of gay stereotypes. Yeah, that would be another good way to do it. Oh my god, I love your accent. Every American when they hear a British accent. I don't think I've seen Johnny Vegas in anything outside of this episode. In my version, Crit Cop would be dressed as a Gestapo officer instead of a pink Bobby uniform. You know, you've gone cabin fever weird when you've unintentionally made a combination table, window, shade cover, compartment, handbag from cardboard and duct tape without realizing it? Okay. If you want to see him in a better guest role in a British show, he played Fran's landlord on Black Books. I've never seen that show. I think this guy really needs a hug from Nigel. He's a nice guy. As long as he doesn't have a magnet on him. Weird how a 24th century ship is still working after 3 million years. Good point. How do we know it's not actually a parody of morals that are hit over your head, that hit you over the head? I didn't come across that way to me. I'd be curious to see if a Red Dwarf episode with only the skimmers, vending machines, toaster, and the elevators, like in a Doctor Who episode. It apparently sucks hydrogen from space using the shuttlecock thing at the front and automatically converts it into fuel, making the ship capable of theoretically traveling forever. That's interesting. I've noticed Lister's voice has gotten a little harsher recently. I don't know about that, but I notice his accent isn't as pronounced as it used to be. If things keep going like they are, this episode can't be shown in Florida. I feel like Florida would like this episode, but then again, maybe they'd miss the point. Just beat the power pack taste of Sunny Rim. Who wants a glass of Sunny Rim? I prefer V-Jolt. Rimmer, whenever not on Red Dwarf or Earth, feels like home. That's true. And then Rimmer when that place turns on him, get me out of here. This ties into your comments on polymorph. It's not just criticism that prevents people acting so irrationally, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like Pinhead there. We have such sides to show, not the magnet, anything but the magnet. Oh my god. And you join us in the teenagers' badminton where players are still laughing at the word shuttlecock. I just remembered that time when you were playing Atari ET and I thought that he was being chased by a French guy. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It was, it was Elliot in his striped shirt. I just want to point out I'm not having that weird problem I was having last week where whenever I selected text in the chat, it would like open up a, what do you call it? It would react as if I was right-clicking, whatever. So I don't know why it was doing that last week, but at least it's not doing it anymore. Florida, where the wild things are, and for some reason where all the crazy people go. Alright. Mechocracy. Was this a good one? I think it was. I don't remember it too well, other than the general plot.
We open on Crichton waiting for a long time. Rimmer asks what he's doing, and Crichton says that he's waiting for Lister to show up.
We're working on the human emotion, patience.
How long have you been waiting?
About 3 hours, sir. I think it might be part of the program. Either that or he's just forgotten.
What do you want to learn about patience for? No one needs patience. It's just an excuse for loafing about.
I hate to bring up Timewave, but this makes me realize another issue with it. Someone who is as military-minded as Rimmer wouldn't be for banning criticism.
Get on with it. That's what I say. Lickety-split.
Anyway, Rimmer steps in and demands to teach Crichton patience himself.
Start! What? Start! Jump to it!
Yes, sir.
Impatiently.
Skip rotations, on to the next. But sure, we onwards!
Anyway, one way to foster patience is to not overload yourself with work and delegate tasks as needed.
Get on with it!
Mop B-deck. That completes today's lesson.
That bit was almost Bugs Bunny-like. It works so well, Rimmer actually goes about mopping the deck. I guess refusing to do it would mean that he was wrong to encourage Crichton to delegate.
Oh, I think you may have missed a little section over there.
Anyway, Lister finally shows up, and this is great.
Now, what were you to work on today?
It was patience, sir. Remember, we were working on patience.
It was manipulation.
Wow, go Crichton.
Mop the diesel decks end to end, all 5 miles. Now, Milano.
So they go to Yellow Alert.
But Yellow Alert is definitely
the word yellow in the background there.
It means someone's in danger, but it's not you.
So yeah, it turns out that another ship is about to get sucked into a black hole.
Some man, just an onboard computer.
Meanwhile, Lister is downloading data from the ship to the main drive instead of to a quarantined one.
Lister, has your brain gone 404? You connect road data onto our drive without an SC.
So as punishment, Rimmer promotes Lister so he can demote him.
Don't stand up, bud. It's a trap.
I have the privilege to advise that you, 3rd Technician David Lister, have been promoted.
Which makes me equal with you, so now you can't demote me.
Have been promoted from 3rd Technician to Technician 2.5.
Lister doesn't care, of course, but Rimmer's not giving up.
Maybe I won't demote you.
He gives him a pep talk to make him feel good about being promoted.
Just imagine how proud your Gran would be if she'd know that you'd be promoted.
All right, should have been made up. She always told me that...
You're demoted.
That was amazingly petty, yet so in character for both of them.
Sirs, what on earth is happening?
It turns out that Lister doesn't even know what he's been downloading, except that it's something called e-cargo. And now they've got a virus.
That was just a front to attract the deeply stupid.
Oh, sir, you didn't stand a chance. Malicious software designed to render the ship inoperable.
They're also headed towards the black hole with no way to stop it. So Crichton runs an antivirus program, but isn't sure it'll work, so they have to abandon ship, at least for the moment. While getting ready to go, Lister grabbed a bunch of items from someone else's quarters, including a pair of reading glasses. Turns out the cat has become far-sighted, which Rimmer discovers.
Wait till the others hear about this. And... no, I've got to do the right thing here. Keep it secret for now, then blackmail you later when I need something.
Wow, he's even a bigger smeg head than usual in this one.
What's happening? We're abandoning ship.
Meanwhile, the vending machines are under the impression that they'll be taken off the ship as well.
We are on the leavers list, aren't we?
I'm not the list guy.
Of course, Lister pawns him off on Rimmer.
He's only taking things that are indispensably essential.
Piney Shine, the all-purpose cleaner. Can't leave this bad boy behind.
But it turns out that the antivirus software worked after all, and they don't need to go anywhere.
It appears all the machines on board have combined their processing time to help the AV software.
He said all of the machines. Does that mean the vending machines too? Like they helped save the ship because they didn't want to die? That's an interesting detail I didn't pick up on before.
Give me a milk, would you?
Sorry, I can't help you.
But now the vending machines are on strike. So is the elevator. And the scutters.
It seems they feel they don't have anyone on board looking after their interests.
But yeah, this is a bigger problem than it seems on the surface. They're stuck on this floor with no way to get to the supply room, so there's currently no way for them to get food.
It also appears he who manages the machines controls the ship.
Rimmer liked the sound of that. So Rimmer is appointing himself as a liaison between the machines and crew, for purely unselfish reasons, of course.
Isn't it time machines were given a voice?
But sir...
Shut up, I'm talking.
Despite the fact that Crichton is a machine and a member of the crew, so he'd be the more obvious choice.
I'm proposing myself to stand for election as machine president.
In which case, so am I.
So they're running against each other. Later, Crichton has already spoken to the machines.
They've agreed to restore all services on the understanding that a member of the crew is elected to represent them.
Anyway, naturally, Crichton asks Lister to be his running mate.
Come in, Mr. President.
Oh.
That just leaves Rimmer with one person.
It's like picking a football team and I'm left with the snotty, club-footed kid with a patch over one eye and the super-strength asthma inhaler. I'll take him.
Of course, Kat doesn't want to help Rimmer.
I've always admired those who stick to their principles. I raise my glasses to you.
Oh, come on, Rimmer. You know damn well he's not going to catch the hints.
Because I know you'll see my point of view.
He actually does eventually get it.
Maybe I will work with you. Working with him will be, cool.
Poor kitty.
That's a great picture.
Vote now for the lovely, fluffy Liberal Alliance Party.
I'm going to win by having the best policies.
So Rimmer starts off sounding like he's determined to help them.
How are you going to achieve all that?
By lying, of course.
Yeah, of course. Meanwhile, Lister is telling Crichton that because the campaign is about equal rights, Crichton should start calling him Dave.
I'll call you, sir. Or maybe one day, Mr. President.
It feels so wrong, Dave. Oh, I did it.
But Crichton's already starting to get cold feet.
You help machines attain equal rights and one day they take over the world?
Sir, take a look around you. The machines have already taken over the world.
Very true, even if the creators seem to keep forgetting that Lister is supposed to be the last human alive. Back to Rimmer, it pretty much goes without saying where he's going to go with his campaign.
Massive smear campaign on Crichton.
Meanwhile, Crichton is talking to the vending machines, but he's interrupted.
But do the electorate know this droid has a history of mental illness?
Hey, showing clips from old episodes to make a point is my job, damn it. I do love how this stuff is being taken out of context, though. Especially this shot with the middle finger. He wasn't flipping anyone off, he was using a finger to demonstrate something, and it happened to be the middle finger because rule of funny. That said, I've seen it used as a reaction image out of context, so that makes it extra amusing. Speaking of Crichton flipping the bird, here's a callback all the way back to season 2.
He tended a crew of skeletons, believing them to be alive. He now wants to look after you.
Lister doesn't get off without criticism either.
A man who served a jail term in stasis for smuggling unquarantined animals aboard a JMC mining ship.
That's so funny coming from Kat, considering he wouldn't exist if not for Lister doing that.
This commercial was approved by Arnold J. Rimmer.
Elections really are the worst, aren't they? Later, Rimmer is schmoozing with all the machines.
Hello, little fellas. How are you?
Aren't they adorable?
Scutters are adorable. I'm glad someone else finally noticed.
All dispensers will be fitted with feet.
We'll be able to walk.
You'll be able to dance, and that's a promise.
I like him.
But here comes the other smear campaign.
God, Rimmer suddenly reminds me of Saul Goodman in this episode, which is kind of funny because I've made that comparison before.
Out the crew of Red Dwarf and killed himself twice.
Context wouldn't help Rimmer's case, though. By the way, I love that they both use the same stock image of a skeleton.
I'm Crichton 2X4B, and I approve this message. Come on!
They sunk as low as us.
That disgusts me.
And now for the expected debate.
I have a series of questions neither of the candidates has seen. Let's start.
The first question is if Rimmer believes in Silicon Heaven.
You mean, do I believe there's an actual place where the souls of blenders and photocopyists, where they're somehow reincarnated and they meet their old owners? Yes, I do.
That's kind of an amusing parody of how politicians try to appeal to Christians. Crichton is asked about a single change that can improve the life of machines. Being one himself, he has a pretty thoughtful answer.
he'd never had the opportunity to break his programming and become something
Oh,
more.
thank you, Pajama Critic.
For
Oh,
Mr. Rimmer.
thank
What's your
you.
opinion on deleting documents? Do you believe that's murder, or is a document not yet a fully formed file until it's saved?
Yeah, Rimmer's basically asked his stance on abortion. That's cute.
I personally believe the exact same thing you believe.
That's really the only way to answer. Later, it turns out that Crichton and Rimmer are neck and neck at the polls, but there is one swing vote that could change everything.
Not the garbage hold.
So why is Lister so apprehensive?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Yes! Admit it, you missed Talkie Toaster. Stop lying, I still know you did.
He's been down here in the garbage hold for nearly 2 decades. I very much doubt he'll be the same annoying...
Howdy doodly do.
And he's got the same voice he had before.
I just have one question.
Don't even go there. I know the question.
What is it?
Would you like some toast?
No, I'm fine, thank you. Why, would you like some toast?
Technically, Lister started it.
How about some brioche?
Yeah, we all know this routine by now. Lister tries to head him off at the pass by mentioning every single variation of toast that he doesn't want.
Muffins it is, coming right up.
Yeah, it's predictable, but I still enjoyed hearing it again. So if they want his vote, they're gonna have to make a deal with him.
Well, I want out of the garbage hold.
Fine.
You eat 11 pieces of toast each morning.
3.
9.
4.
7 and 1 croissant.
Fine.
You have my vote.
Later, Crichton has won. It's followed by a cute bit about Cat and his glasses, but I've got to save something for the Cat videos. It's been hard to not talk about Cat this season with how many great scenes he's gotten. But I will mention that he got back at Rimmer by locking him in the garbage hold.
On his own? Of course not.
I think we all know where this is going.
Would you like some toast? Would you like some toast? Would you like some toast?
And so ends Mechocracy.
That's horrible.
This was a pretty cute episode, but it's one of those that's pretty straightforward, so this segment is going to be brief. Basically, it was just funny. Rimmer is at his utmost smegginess, but Crichton manages to get a couple big jabs at him, which is always refreshing. And of course, I also like the little subplot with Kat. Not to mention that storylines that poke fun at how awful presidential elections can be are always fun. I guess something could be said about the fact that the machines are sentient, yet none of the crew has any qualms about leaving them to die, as it were. So yeah, maybe they have a right to, well, demand rights. But this episode doesn't really go that deeply into it. And of course there's Talkie Toaster. One complaint I've heard about Season 12 is that it's very fan-servicey, which, yeah, it totally is. But I'm a fan, so I don't mind. They aren't the deepest episodes, and I guess I could understand thinking that it's a lazy way to go, but I think they're fun. And hell, at least there isn't anything icky or preachy in this episode like with Timewave. Spoiler, that's really the only episode of Season 12 that I specifically disliked. Next up is M-Corp. See you then.
Yeah, M-Corp was pretty good, as I recall.
Aren't we all machines just made out of different stuff? I mean, when you tickle us, don't we all laugh? When you prick us, don't we all say smegger? Now you prick me, you smegger.
That actually reminds me of that line Data said in The Naked Now, where he's like, where he says, "If you prick me, do I not leak?" Rimmer, how not to do things, pretty much. Technician 2.5 qualified to clean half a chicken soup dispenser. Red Dwarf, where the vending machines and lifts are sentient and can go on strike. Yeah, there's a problem with AI that nobody thought of. This episode sort of reminds me of all the problems that could have been avoided in Thomas the Tank Engine if they hadn't relied entirely on sentient rolling stock. Showing clips from old episodes to make a point is my job, damn it. Love that. That was pretty good, if I do say so myself. And killed himself. Twice. Elections really are the worst, aren't they, present Dina? You have no idea, past Dina. Yeah, pretty much.
When I was on holiday in the U.S. prior to the '04 elections, I grew so sick of hearing the smear campaigns on the radio. Every day, some boring voice droning on about Bush and the Saudis conspiracy. Yep. Yeah, those are annoying. I personally believe what you believe. Politics in a nutshell. Excuse me. Seriously, I'm surprised Talkie didn't try to appeal to Lister by offering him poppadoms and non-bread. Yeah, good point. That would make too much sense, I guess. Haggling with toast of all things. Toast is good. Finally, we get to see Rimmer interacting with the toaster. That's true. It's always been just Lister until now, and Crichton somewhat. And Holly that one time. Smeganelli, you prick me, you smeghead. Lister misquoting Shakespeare is Rimmer's job. There you go. Now, that's all I can remember. They should have remembered how stuck they are without machines from Whitehole. Yeah, good point. Dina, you've mastered the art of pomposity. All right. Let me go to the bathroom really quick. Honestly, it's just an excuse to get out of my chair. My legs are kind of stiff. I'll get some water too while I'm at it. Excuse me. God, you're such a butt. Sol just showed up, and it's the first time I've seen him this morning. I have no idea where he's been all this time, but... What toast do you want? I like sourdough myself. We all know the correct stance on abortion rights. Abortions for some, miniature American flags for others. What's that from? That sounds familiar. I love that bit where Clinton and Bob Dole are walking around together holding hands. Previously on Cherry the Bedbug Slayer? Oh, because of my chair, I guess. Whatever. Cute how she talks to the cat. Yeah, like I said, Soul just showed up for the first time today. I don't know where he's been. I looked for him earlier, and he wasn't in any of his usual spots. He might have been hiding in a closet. I guess that's the only place he could have been. I command you to bring Fluffy Soul on camera. Oops, well, maybe if he comes over here. So, he's too busy eating the broom. Strangely, there's been no sign of Senior Sticks. Oh, you're right! I thought the chat seemed very quiet. He left me in charge of the chat last time. Am I still in charge? We know all too well that Soul showed up. Dina, we heard you talking to him. Yeah, I figured you heard me. That's why I explained.
Hey! So!
He likes to chew on the broom bristles. It's a really weird habit he has. That was... Oh, from The Simpsons, where the aliens take over Bill Clinton and Bob Dole just before the election. That's right, that's right. I knew that sounded familiar. I just couldn't quite place it. Yeah, it was a Treehouse of Horror episode. Go ahead, throw your vote away. And that's how we'll make the snow being ash canon. He's too busy eating the broom, not a phrase I thought I'd hear. And now he's eating food. Sonic Boom had an episode where Eggman had to go without technology for a while, and he was so reliant on it that he didn't know how to do anything else. Ah, yes, a bowl. Odie likes licking feet for some reason. All of our pets have weird quirks, yeah. Aight. How many episodes in are we? Oh, this is the 5th. Okay. So today is Lister's birthday.
It's the big one, sir.
Barking at his food.
Ho, ho, ho. 40.
Yeah, we don't get an exact number, just that it's over 40. Anyway, Lister starts having chest pains. Too bad only Cat is there. He's about as much help as you'd expect.
Chess? You want to play chess? What is wrong with you today? Why are you acting so crazy?
At least his breakfast won't go to waste. Rimmer is also about as much help as you'd expect.
You're really loving this, aren't you?
I will be in a minute when Crichton comes in and takes your temperature with a rectal thermometer.
Good news, sir.
Even more good news. What this time?
Mr. Lister's heart is tickety-boo.
You've definitely been around Rimmer too long to start saying stuff like tiggity-boo.
Tiggity-boo.
Anyway, it wasn't a heart attack, but indigestion.
I'm not sure what could have caused that.
Still, Crichton wants to keep an eye on him, so he injects him with a monitoring chip.
Hello, Dave. I'm Chippy, your health monitoring mate. Right now, I'm in your heart, trying to get down one of your arteries.
Everything talks on Red Dwarf, like it or not.
I can also monitor your improvement by giving you daily updates of when you're likely to die. Would you like to know that, Dave?
Yes, please, man.
You'll be 63, Dave.
Rimmer?
Dave, please remain calm, but you have a giant arterial blockage in your left coronary artery. The stress of hearing you're going to die has caused you to die.
Thank you now. I'm going to die.
3, 2, 1.
Well, that was an adventure.
It appears Chippy mixed up your death with its own.
It turns out that the robot was running off of old software because, long story short, Cat unplugged something so he could plug in his curling iron at some point, so they missed a software update. So they update the system to discover that JMC was bought out by a company called M-Corp.
Your ship will now be stocked with a
There we
variety
go.
of M4 products to elevate your lifestyle in space.
So now they're fully stocked with everything, including beer. That's kind of a wasteful way to package it. But when Lister
it's a
goes
lot
to
of
put them in
foam.
the fridge, he finds it empty, though there's supposed to be other stuff in there.
What's this? Yes. If I'm not holding a can of beer, no beer will come out when I shake it and pull the ring pull, right? Right. Okay.
Turns out that there is, but Lister just can't see it. He can only see the M-Corp products.
Can you see this?
Yes.
And finally, can you see this?
Probably for the best that he can't see that.
I'm just praying that's an electric toothbrush. It appears the M-Core upgrade has installed some sort of perception filter software, and you're the only one affected.
And after a bit, he can no longer hear Rimmer or Cat.
And now I'm the only...
And then Crichton. And then they disappear. So Lister's all alone on Red Dwarf now and can't see half the objects, including his guitar. At least he doesn't have to hear Talkie Toaster anymore. Well, now we know where Cat is. M-Corp basically bought out nearly everything, even things that people don't like.
Maggots, quicksand, even the American chocolate.
How dare you?
We've got to get rid of the M-Core update before it takes over Red Dwarf like it took over Earth.
Anyway, Crichton thinks that they may be able to reboot Red Dwarf back to its factory settings. They'll temporarily lose Rimmer, but his files were backed up a month ago, so he'll only lose a month of memory. Meanwhile, M-Corp offers Lister a tour. He accepts in the hopes that it'll help him figure out how to get his friends back.
And let us introduce you to our world.
Nice beaming effect there. Geez, he doesn't even get to keep his own clothes.
I look like a yoga instructor.
Yeah, this is right out of 2001. I don't think they've referenced that since the invention of Holly.
Everybody's dead, Dave.
I just want to switch this perception filter off so I can see the guys again.
So there are different packages that Lister can purchase based on the amount of credits he already has.
You are eligible to purchase Basic Light.
This is starting to sound like the gaming industry.
Basic Light allows you to talk to 5 people up to a cap of 200 words per day.
There's no one here. Who do I talk to?
You can purchase friends, Dave. Meet Steve.
Hi, Dave. I'm Steve.
Would you like to purchase Steve, Dave?
Steve Dave is the name of a character from the Clerks universe.
I play drums. I drink real ale. I love Zero G.
Tell him, Steve
and
Dave.
I'm really crap at computer games, so you will always beat me.
This guy does sound like the perfect match for Lister. Maybe a little too perfect. He's too used to being around people he hates.
You don't have enough credits to cancel your trial weekend, Dave, but you could earn credits and then buy early release.
Back to the rest of them, Crichton needs a password from Rimmer.
It's gone clean out of my head.
Let's not panic, sir. Perhaps you can answer the secret security question. Who did you share your first kiss with? I'll type this. Uncle Frank.
Wow, there's a callback. Why are uncles named Frank always pervy?
Now, if you don't mind, can I get on?
Is that what he said?
Anyway, Crichton reboots Red Dwarf's computer and Rimmer reboots
awful.
as well. Meanwhile, Lister is refusing to buy anything from M-Corp.
Microtransactions, yep.
Would you like to buy some pain pills, Dave?
Oof, that's a little dark.
Water! I need a glass of water!
That will be $40 pounds, Dave.
You don't need water to take pills, you pussy.
I'm not buying anything else.
I called him a pussy.
Whoa!
And now the room is on fire, so he has to buy a fire extinguisher.
You can go and take a flying...
I'm afraid you've depleted your word account for today, Dave.
So he's run out of words and credits, so now they're taking time off of his life to pay for more words. This really is getting kind of dark. Back to Crichton and crew again. They return to Lister's room to find that he most likely left on the teleporter. So here's where that implant from the beginning comes in again. Crichton rebuilds Chippy so they can use the implant to track down Lister. They get a signal, but it's weak. So they beam over to M-Corp to find lots of people on it, all whom are now friends of Lister's. Also, he bought a ton of stuff, and yeah, he's probably about to die of old age now.
We've got to get him out of here.
And he still can't see them.
Welcome to MCOR.
But Crichton has the answer.
We'd like to buy a malicious virus that will shut you down and allow us to escape.
Certainly.
Nice. Anyway, Lister gets his currency back, meaning that he de-ages back to where he was before.
What's going on, guys? Is this you?
But he still can't see the rest of the crew, even once he's on Red Dwarf.
Why can't he see or hear us?
I still can't see or hear you.
The perception software didn't hack Red Dwarf, it hacked Lister's brain.
Crichton figures out that he can communicate with Lister through Chippy.
Mr. Lister, can you hear me?
Crichton?
He basically has to reboot Lister's brain, but the last backup was from when he was 23.
Perhaps I can rebuild your full profile based on CCTV recordings.
He'll be able to eventually get him up to date, but it'll take a month.
Lister, shut up! I'm only humming. Oh, don't hum.
Now there's a throwback.
Oh, God, he's back.
So this was a cute episode, and probably one of the better ones of Season 12. I doubt that they were going for this specifically, but I liked how the MCOR business model felt a lot like what the gaming industry has been doing. No loot boxes per se, but it's still the concept of paying full price for only half of a product, and then paying more for the rest as it becomes available or whatever. Thank God for Jim Sterling. In all
Wow, that's
seriousness,
an old...
though, it's some good commentary on
there's
terrible
an
business
old
models
picture.
that take advantage of vulnerable people. Other than that, I kind of like the lonely scene where Lister wakes up alone in an invisible bed surrounded by MCOR products, and then stumbles through his morning trying to use appliances he can't see. Even though it was partly played for laughs, it's also kind of sad and pathetic. And much as I've liked these last couple seasons in the sense that I still find them entertaining and funny, there hasn't been anything resembling depth since Season 10, and it was kind of refreshing to get a little of that again. I guess that's about all I have to say about this one. Next up is a Season 12 finale, Skipper. See you then.
Oh, I guess we're gonna get all the way through Season 12 after all. Okay.
I don't need a present, Grites. I've got everything I need.
Sir, you've got nothing. No life, no partner, no future. You're so easy to shop for.
That's a good one. Okay. Get caught up on the chat here, like we do. Oh no, I lost my place again. Where'd it go? Oh, there we go. I just scrolled past it. Moved on from broom to food. I mean, at least that's a step up. Odie also howls and talks to you as though he's a husky. My family used to have a dog named Cujo who was a fox terrier, and he used to howl at specific TV themes. Like, he used to howl at the opening of Buffy and Xena. I think those were the only ones, but it was always those two. And he would, every birthday party, he would bark while people sang happy birthday. Oh, and when people sang happy birthday on TV, he'd bark at that too. He was a weird dog. Good fall, Lister, but Cat is the master of the pratfall. Good point. Red Dwarf is basically Pee-wee's Space House. Speaking of which, I'm trying to watch my diet a little lately. I've put on too much weight lately, yeah. I hear that. Calling Soul a big lovable doof. It's a good way to describe him. Nice try, Mummy, but you won't get me to talk to the glowing rectangle. It wasn't an electric toothbrush. Soul seems mesmerized by the stream. He might have been. Sorry. The M-Corp lady was on a BBC show called Call the Midwife alongside Jenny Agutter. Oh, that's interesting. That's a fun coincidence.
love how when Lister's food starts moving, the audience automatically knows it's cat. Yup. Because who else would do that? Steve was the warm-up act for the live audience the last few seasons. Oh, that's cool. So he's like the Tony Hawks of the last couple seasons, I guess. Diamanda Hagen declared this the best episode of season 12, and she's probably right. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, is it better than Cured, though? Well, it's got a little more depth anyway, so it's got that going for it. Is that what he said? No, what he actually said was, "Look what you did, you little jerk." I wish I'd thought to reference that. I think I didn't remember that frank at the time. I was specifically thinking of the one from Hellraiser. There's a lot of real-life companies M Corp could be taking the mick out of. EA, Rockstar, Disney, yeah. Your "you pussy" killed me there. I probably shouldn't use pussy as an insult. Technically, it's misogynistic, but I mean, I figure since I'm a woman, I'm allowed to say it. Also, I think it's kind of funny because it catches people off guard, so... Believe it or not, that's not the first time that Lister nearly F-bombs in Red Dwarf. In the novel backwards, he passed out saying, "You lose, motherfucker." That's funny. Oh, Skipper, where we learn how warm and snuggly Lister is. "Sir, you've got nothing. No life, no partner. You're so easy to shop for." That's a great line. The saddest part for me is Lister forgetting literally everything that has ever happened on Red Dwarf since Season 1, Episode 1. I don't know how they can fix that. Then again, in Star Trek TOS, they did the same. Oh, they did? Interesting. Happy Bark Day. I really need to go and watch Season 12 again, as it has been a while. Much better than I remember, it appears. Yeah. It's not bad. It's one of the lesser seasons, I guess, but it's not bad. Better than Season 8. Did Buffy's theme have a wolf howl somewhere in the effects? I guess it did in the beginning. Some people want to watch for funny, some want to watch for deepness. Yeah, that's true. Off guard, yeah, mission accomplished. P-word privileges. Alright, let's go. I didn't think I'd make it all the way through Season 12. Maybe these are shorter than usual, these videos.
Hey, guys.
So, Lister has found the crew profiles.
You shouldn't be reading those.
This comment means you've caught up.
Only.
Oh, like you've never looked at them before.
Constantly fails the exam? I'd hardly call 11 times constantly.
David Lister, although clearly
getting
quite
a little
bright,
warm.
is lazy, unreliable, rude and disorganised. You thought I was quite bright?
Either way, he ends up reading his.
Arnold, however, has not succeeded to the same blah 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 blah.
And of course, there's nothing good in there.
While he continues to blame everyone for his own failings. And even if I do, I got that off my mum. She's a huge blame.
Later, Crichton discovers that the scanners have picked up something.
It appears that some kind of anomaly has penetrated our universe.
I hate people who use the word anomaly. It's just a fancy-smancy word for weird.
Whatever it is, sir, it's heading our way.
And they're on a collision course with it and no time to move out of the way.
Unless the chick with the really calm voice starts talking, it ain't serious.
Please remain calm.
It's serious. Stop panicking. We're going up to the science room, find out what the hell is happening.
Damn right.
So Lister just thinking about going to the science room just kind of teleported them to another room. Oh, yeah.
Make us a coffee, would you?
Hey, I'm a cat. I ain't making you coffee. Milk and 2 sugars, right? Any biscuits? I ain't getting you no biscuits. Biscuits?
Meanwhile, Crichton requests a damage Ain't getting you report, no and biscuits. the computer's acting as if he hadn't.
Right.
But Rimmer deciding not to run one
Instead,
caused it to run. And then this happens.
we shouldn't tell the others until we get to the bottom of this.
Can Mr. Lister and Mr. Cat please make their way to the science room?
So Crichton wants to run a weird experiment.
How weird?
Just moderately weird, sir. Say a 1989 Michael Jackson. What would you like me to throw you, sir? This apple or this orange?
The apple. What?
So this is basically the new timeline for every decision not made theory that has come up before. But in this case, the timelines are getting mixed up, and the decision not made is the thing that ends up happening.
That's more than moderately weird, Crichton. That's more like a 1993 Michael Jackson.
I love this running gag. Meanwhile, Lister is thinking along similar lines and tries some testing of his own.
Make my breakfast. I ain't making you breakfast. What bacon bud? I've already had breakfast. I'm not going to eat this.
And he comes to the same conclusion.
Whatever choice you make, the choice you don't make happens. We should go tell Crichton and helicopter landing pad head. Good idea. But first, tidy my bunk. I ain't tidying your bunk.
This is a mean thing to do to poor dumb cat.
Well, I say let's not walk down the corridor and not get the lift to the science room. My kind of mission. Let's do nothing.
And there they go. Except Cat chooses the elevator instead of the stairs, so they end up on the stairs. Twice, that we know of. But they eventually make it.
Suggest we don't stay here and we
That
don't
we know
discuss
of.
the peculiar events taking place.
We gotta stay here and figure out what the hell's happening.
They really just need to put a muzzle on Cat if they ever want to get anything done. So this gets them all on the subject of choices they've made and all the possible alternate universes there could be.
Somewhere a different version of you is living out the opposite of all your decisions.
What a life he must be having, that lucky bastard.
Anyway, it turns out that this may have been caused by an experiment that Crichton was doing.
I've been trying to create a portable device that allows the user to quantum skip to other universes.
Kind of like the Holly Hop drive? Or rather what it ended up doing, not what it was supposed to do.
It appears it's worked, but I may have slightly miscalculated the settings and ripped a hole in space-time.
Damn it, Crichton, you had one job. But yeah, if they can fix the rift, they can use the quantum skipper to go to different dimensions. But Rimmer is the only one who wants to do it.
A chance for a new life, a fresh start, new people, better people.
Unfortunately, he won't be able to choose which one to go to. It's randomized. Also, it needs a little time to recharge in between uses.
So what do I do to quantum skip out of here?
You simply press this button here, sir.
So it basically is the Holly Hop drive, just less dorky looking.
I'm not one for long farewell speeches, but I have written this. See ya!
That was a little similar to his going away speech in Hollow Ship.
That over the years, I have come to regard you as people I met.
So Rimmer tries his first skip.
This is just Red Dwarf.
Oh, hi, Holly.
Morning, all.
Holly, when is this? Where am I?
It's Monday, and you're in a corridor.
Honestly, I get why Holly isn't a regular on the show anymore, but it's nice seeing him once in a while.
I'm a computer that runs the ship. I'm tested every month.
Can you prove that? Have you got a certificate?
Well, no, I failed the tests. I forgot to turn the paper over.
Anyway, it turns out that the crew never got wiped out in this dimension.
Captain Hollister?
Nobody's dead, Arnold.
Todd Hunter?
Nobody's dead, Arnold.
Really?
Not even Peterson?
Holy shit, Peterson! He hasn't gotten a mention since the first episode of season 10.
I totally forgot Peterson got a mention this season. That's so funny.
Gordon Bennett. Nobody's dead. Nobody is dead, Arnold.
Wow, they're really committed to this gag.
You're telling me nobody's dead?
I wish I'd never brought this up now.
Anyway, Lister is still in stasis.
I wish I never
Also,
brought
there was
this up
no
now.
radiation leak.
Sorry to break off, Arnold. I've got to make an announcement.
Yet.
Radiation leak alert. All crew should run around screaming.
But the skipper hasn't finished recharging.
Captain?
Oh, hi, Captain Hollister.
I was trying to go down with the dwarf, do the right thing, when suddenly I tripped into this escape pod.
Sir, I thought all good captains went down with their ships.
They do. Later.
Wow, he really is the worst. Anyway, Rimmer just makes it out of there.
Nuts.
That's a little dark.
What reality is this?
Second dimension. The ship appears empty at first, but he finds Crichton.
I've just quantum skipped
Oh,
from
we're
another
already up
reality.
to this one.
I'm looking
Cool.
for something better than the one I came from. What's Lister like here?
And it turns out that Lister is much more refined here.
Evening, chaps. Oh, by the way, Crichton, later on I need your help. I want to relabel my collection of vintage wires.
And he collects stuff.
I'm quite excited because I've just added a digital coaxial audio to my not inconsiderable collection.
Rimmer is liking this place, so what's going to end up being wrong with it?
Will you be joining myself, Mr. Lister, and Mr. Rat for dinner?
Of course Mr. Who?
Oh, Lord, he coming.
Yo, Credit! Where my dinner at?
So here it turns out that Lister smuggled a rat on board instead of a cat.
On the all the volumes of these chaps.
And another difference is that
it's so
all
dumb.
of them stayed on board, so the ship is full of these guys.
Sometimes they even sleep with me. He's so warm and snuggly.
Even if I hated the rest of this episode, this guy would have totally made up for it.
Thanks for the invite, but I think I'll skip dinner.
Third dimension.
This has got to be better than Rat World.
Okay, when I talked about a ship full of Listers a few episodes ago, this isn't quite what I had in mind.
No.
Come
no.
to think of it though, I'm curious what decision led to this. Fourth dimension, Rimmer is the computer in place of Holly.
Morning, sir.
Number 5, holy crap. Again, how the hell?
They referenced the
Om
song there. I think I missed it at the time.
Montage of Rimmer discovering something horrible in each one that we don't see, and some
Otherwise, I
go by
would have
so fast
complained,
it'd be hard to
probably.
keep track. Finally, another one that's going to be focused on for a bit. On the upside, he's human here.
Sir, Officer Rimmer, sir.
And an officer. Also, the crew is back.
Rimmer, navigation officer, yes! Married, yes!
I forgot to mention, the captain wants to see you in his office.
And they seem to like him.
Rimmer, sir, you wanted to see me.
Downside is that Lister is the captain.
I run a fairly tight ship here, Rimmer. Fancy a cold one?
No.
Rimmer can't use the skipper again yet, so he tries to explain to Lister where he's from.
Are you familiar with the multiverse?
That strip club on Venus. I went there once. Is that a crime? Okay, I'm a lifetime member, but what happens on Venus stays on Venus.
Turns out that Lister spotted the faulty drive plate that Rimmer forgot to fix that caused the radiation leak.
After that, it was up, the ziggurat lickety-split.
He shows Rimmer to their old quarters and...
Hasn't been used in years.
Damn, they did an amazing job replicating the Season 1 look. The audience even oohs and ahs at it.
We're really home. And I'm alive. Not a hologram, but an officer and a gentleman.
Looking forward to getting home myself, actually.
Red Dwarf, No Way Home.
Kachansky?
No, it's short for Crystal. I met her at the multiverse.
Sorry
Seems
about my
like Rimmer is
phone.
beginning to like this place, Captain Lister notwithstanding. He is still kind of sore about that, though. Lister is also rich.
When I fixed the drive plate, they offered me some cash to keep me stum. I refused a settlement and opted for shares. They had no idea we were going to stumble across a planet rich in helium-7.
I wonder if that's Planet Rimmer he's talking about.
Made a fortune.
I can't live in a reality where you're more successful than me.
Well, at least he's honest.
You've got everything you ever wanted.
It's not worth
Red
it.
Dwarf into this
And the next
megaverse.
skip takes him back home.
Did you find a universe where you felt less of a loser?
The grass isn't always greener on the other side of the fence. And so ends Skipper. This was a fun little episode. Apparently it was originally meant to air on the 30th anniversary of Red Dwarf, but it ended up getting moved. But that's the reason for all the callbacks. It was meant as a love letter to the fans. One thing that's kind of interesting is that due to the plot and probably the title, Skipper was Ace's nickname for Lister, some fans were convinced that this would be the episode that would finally somehow reveal that this Rimmer is Ace.
Yeah, right.
I was sort of amused by that for two reasons. One is the idea that the show was ever going to go into that at this point. And the other being that I hate that theory, so I'm glad it's still unconfirmed. And no, sorry, I don't believe your story that a friend of a friend was pulled aside by Doug Naylor, who secretly revealed to them what really happened at the end of Season 8. Anyway, yeah, with the jumping or skipping between dimensions, you'd think this would be the perfect time to bring back Ace if they were ever going to do that. I'm not one of those who normally cares that the cast is getting on in years. I think they're still great at what they do, and having similar hairstyles as they did earlier in the series visually de-ages them a bit, in my opinion. And honestly, I think they look great anyway. But I feel like Ace Rimmer is a character that really needs to be played by a fairly young actor, and I just don't see Chris Berry doing that at this point, unless maybe they give the character a major overhaul, which would kind of defeat the purpose. Who knows, maybe Ace will show up again at some point and prove me wrong. But without that happening, that's just how I feel at this point. And with that, I'm done with Season 12 and basically this series for now. I did enjoy this season though. Like I said in a previous video, you can tell that it was shot alongside Season 11 and that one got more attention. Still, while 12 wasn't one of the better seasons, I liked it just fine. Like, it's still better than Season 8. Apparently there has been a little more talk about Season 13 since I started covering this season. Until then I was doubting that it was even going to happen. But it's likely to be at least a year before it comes out, and I probably won't want to make videos about it immediately.
That said, I'm not quite done with Red Dwarf in general, just these vlog videos. I've still got the cat videos for seasons 10 through 12, and I've got another Star Trek comparison video I'm gonna make, but that'll all be done before the end of the year. And no, I don't know what series I'm gonna cover after Red Dwarf, especially since I'm not making enough money on YouTube to justify doing this full-time anymore, so I may not even have time to do weekly videos once I get another quote-unquote real job. So I kind of need to see how my schedule is going to change before I even think about starting a new series like this. So for now, I'm just going to say thank you to everyone who watched this series of videos. I did enjoy covering Red Dwarf, and I'm glad I helped some of my viewers get into it. And I know some of you have found my channel through these videos, so it's been quite the adventure. Red Dwarf is a very unique series, which I fell in love with almost immediately, and I'm glad to have gotten the chance to talk about it so much. I hope you all have enjoyed this as much as I have. That's it for now. See you next time. I like the M-Corp title card.
You're supposed to surround yourself with people who are brighter and more successful than you.
You have. Quite right.
Oh, I got another cat video. Oh, 20 minutes. Oh, I guess I can make time for one cat video. Let me try to get caught up on the chat really quick. Well, it's true, Lister. You are quite bright. Yeah, he's brilliant but lazy. Another episode where Cat demonstrates his biggest weakness, failure to learn. So Michael Jackson circa Dangerous versus Michael Jackson circa History. Todd in the Shadows should totally do a history for Train Records. Do history for Train Records. I don't remember that album, I don't think. Michael Jackson was nothing if not weird. Nobody's dead, Arnold. Why has Hattie Hayridge never reprised the role of Holly since series 5? I've always wondered that too, because there were times when they wanted to bring back Holly, but like Norman Lovett didn't want to do it, so it's like, okay, why not bring back Hattie Hayridge then? Oh Lord, he coming. He's so warm and snuggly. In all fairness, rats really do love to sleep together, yeah. Every time you knock your connection, I keep thinking it's my computer. Sorry about that. Yeah, my connector that hooks up my phone to my computer is getting kind of weak, and like anytime I bump it, it makes a noise. Sometimes I don't even have to bump it; it'll just make the noise over and over because it's trying to connect and failing. It's a big pain in the butt. I actually thought that Ace would turn up in this episode somehow because of the title. Yeah. Apparently a lot of fans did. I would have been fine with a grizzled white-haired Ace like Han Solo in The Force Awakens. You know, that might work, actually, now that you mention it. I felt like changing Ace in that way would defeat the purpose of his character, but maybe not. The final dimension where Rimmer has everything he's ever wanted and he's an officer, but he's Ace Rimmer and Lister is the captain. Real job, is that one of those things where you have to get up in the morning? Yep. I remember feeling a little emotional after watching this vlog. I couldn't bring myself to comment on it. It was such a blast going through them. Aw. Instead of giving Crichton patience training, they should give Cat social cue training, right? Oh, that must be nice being able to be up at 9 a.m. Excuse me. Chewie, we're back for breakfast. Older Ace like old man Ace, a la Marvel Comics. I'm not sure which Ace you're talking about. Alright, let's watch this one cat video. Time for more outfit descriptions. Who's ready for the word count?
Welcome back to the show where we shine a spotlight on the character who would want it the most, the cat. These next videos might be a little shorter than the last batch, because Cat is done growing and he basically settles into a mix of the first couple seasons with later seasons. He's back to dancing again, but he can also still pilot a ship. But it looks like semi-mature Cat, who wasn't totally insensitive all the time and had his own kind of rudimentary intelligence from season 6 and back to Earth, is gone for good. To be fair, most of what people call the Dave era of Red Dwarf doesn't focus too much on character development anyway. Well, season 10 had some, but 11 and 12 were almost completely played for laughs. So on to season 10.
Did you see that? That was cool.
Do it again.
Trojan opens up with him reacting to Lister getting way too invested in pig racing. It's pretty bad when even Cat thinks you're an idiot. Then he finds a book on weird facts, and this gem of a conversation takes place.
Did you know that in the 1970s in Sweden, 20% of all traffic accidents involved a moose?
Well, if they're stupid enough to let them drive, what the hell do they expect?
It goes on for a while.
You mean they're in the back fooling around, distracting the driver? Why are they giving them a lift in the first place?
Too bad I can't show too much of it due to content ID.
You mean they're not looking left and right?
Exactly.
Not using the pedestrian crossings?
Exactly.
Of course they're not, they're mooses!
But it leads into a great running gag. Crichton also sees the book.
Maybe we could swap ships. This baby's gotta be better than Red Dwarf. That crate's slower than the speed of dark.
So Rimmer is studying
Slower
for one
than
of
the
his
speed of
tests,
dark.
and he
I
just
love
happens
that.
to run across a question that was in that book.
How did you get that? Get what?
Oh, but here comes Cat. He definitely won't know it, right?
What caused this accident?
What accident?
That'll make Rimmer feel better.
It's 1971. A man...
Was he Swedish?
Yes.
A moose.
One of the best Cat moments in season 10 right there.
The moose is on the road, by the way, not in the car driving.
After drawing all over Rimmer's face while he was suffering a hard drive crash and then erasing it before they revived him.
Now, the average person has 3,000 different thoughts a day.
He only has 3.
Cat is dumb gag. Anyway, I like how he's weirdly in Rimmer's space throughout this conversation.
Hardly a day went by when he didn't swirly my head down the toilet or leave me wedgie to a door hook, sometimes for hours.
This guy sounds amazing.
He doesn't say much, but he makes a lot of amusing faces in response to everything. Later on, when
My
Rimmer is
horrible
showing
home
his
video.
brother around and introducing him to the crew.
And as part of our interspecies program, our very able navigation officer, Flight Officer Gerald Hampton. Gerald Hampton.
I can't believe he thought Cat would remember he was given a fake name. And why do that anyway? I can see Lister,
David Listerton Smythe,
since Rimmer might have mentioned him to Howard at some point. Then again, he also gave one to Crichton.
Crichton Kritinsky.
So whatever, rule of funny, I guess. Either way, I also love that it's such a generic name.
Gerald Hampton.
I also wonder if it's a reference to how Danny tends to forget his lines. A little later...
Course to that place you has to go to? Light it.
Take us away, navigation officer.
That's me. I'll do that.
Cat seems proud of the fact that he did at least remember that he's supposed to be navigation officer. He also thought of this.
Turning right now, ma'am.
That look on his face like, God, I hope this works.
We'll teleport him straight to the space station. Yeah, you do that. I'm gonna get me another felt tip.
Of course he gets himself lost. I never noticed before how crazy that map looks. It's just like hundreds of geometric shapes overlapping each other. No wonder he got lost. I love that he actually took the sign off the wall. That's something I'd like to do in the amusement park level in Silent Hill 3.
Mr. Hampton, sir.
Anyway, he shows up in the nick of time. I love how amused he is by all this.
In 90 minutes, we're gonna be hotter than me in a pair of silk Speedos.
Fathers and Sons opens with Kat and Lister talking about Lister needing to see the dentist.
As soon as that robo drill started screeching, I bet you were gone.
Yeah? How'd you know that?
You're still wearing a bib.
Good observation there.
Ow, nice pixels. Hey, buds, what's happening?
Here's another scene where Kat doesn't say much but has great facial expressions. Later, Lister is finally going to see the Dentabot. Kat's just there so he can steal the last tank of anesthetic.
But you don't need it, right? Don't need it now, but one day I will.
Damn, you'd think there'd be some kind of security measure to prevent that. He's even really obnoxious about it.
I'm always collecting things I don't need for when I need them. You got to think ahead.
But I need that anesthetic now.
See? You didn't think ahead. This is what I'm saying. You got to think ahead.
God.
Not sure about his collecting things. That's kind of random. I've seen dogs collect things, but not really cats.
How about we share?
Hey, bud, never ask a cat to share. It's a scratch to the face, often offends.
That is definitely in character.
What do you want? Why are you such a bud?
What's a lemon?
Enjoy the moment. You're no longer the dumb one.
Thanks, bud.
Lemons opens with a reference to the silly games Kat and Lister play off screen.
This holds the fourth on the autopsy table. You have to land your drive over the bunion plasters in between the two kidney donor dishes, then a straight shot into the medical student's practice rectum.
That were also mentioned in Time Slides in Blue.
Unicycle polo.
Match the body part to the crew member.
I always loved that one.
But yeah, Lister is cooking something.
Steak? What is it, pork?
And notice that Kat can't identify it by the smell.
Catch you later.
Don't worry, that's gonna come back and bite him big time.
Maybe needs a little more soy sauce. Ow! It's always Earth with you guys. Who's to say this isn't a planet entirely populated by naked warrior cat babes who need me to make love to them all?
Keeping the dream alive. I love that Kat's the only one whose turban and scarf match what he was already wearing. He also didn't grow a beard like Lister did. I doubt that he wouldn't be able to grow facial hair. If nothing else, his high alter ego and Demons and Angels had, what is that, a soul patch? I think it's more likely that he found a way to shave and he just didn't share with Lister. Sometimes you wonder how cats can stay so immaculate all the time, so it works.
An oxen had a higher standing in society than a woman.
Where did the oxen go wrong? They had it all and just threw it all away.
Later on, they get to talking about Jesus and...
23 AD, this is when he was supposed to be alive.
So how old would he be?
Let's work it out, shall we?
I love that this doubles as a Kat is dumb gag along with Rimmer as an asshole. And Kat is just completely clueless the whole time, while Lister and Crichton look exasperated. It's a great bit.
23. That's how old that guy looks.
So there's a similar running gag here as the one in Trojan.
Oh, hey, Sticks. We were just talking about you.
In a pickle?
Rimmer ranted about how there's no point in quoting Shakespeare because he's totally irrelevant to their present lives.
Let's face it, sir, we're in a real pickle.
And once again, it comes to a head with Kat.
A dish fit for a king.
Here's some more TMI.
At last I can get a change of underwear. These suckers are riding so hard they'd show up on x-rays.
Also those faces he's making.
My spleen! You removed my spleen!
So here's the payoff for Kat stealing Lister's food.
But the rest of your organs in the freezer.
Excuse me.
Actually, not the first time Kat ate something that he couldn't identify with smell, and both times had the same outcome.
Dina City
I
Adventure.
knew it didn't smell right. Oh my god.
You'd think he would have learned after the first one. That's a pretty big mistake to make twice.
Do you really think this is helping?
Read my CV. Does not help. Does not clean. Will have sex with and methane.
Entangled has Kat doing something we haven't seen in a while. Hunting. This is one of those, hey, my cat does that things that we haven't seen him do since the first couple seasons. Tara likes to kill and eat spiders, which is great for me. In this case, Kat is going after a
She hasn't
space
done that in a
beetle.
while,
Surprisingly
unfortunately.
lost track of it. Those things are huge.
Little sucker keeps outsmarting me.
Well, they do have an IQ of 2, sir.
So Crichton has been experimenting with crystals left over from Trojan, and the result is he and Kat being in sync.
What a weird coincidence. Hey, we both said that at the same time.
This is cute, but it doesn't have much to do with Kat himself.
Probably just coincidence.
But I do like that they went with Crichton and Kat for this subplot, since, as I said a while back, they seem to really get along well, and I think it's cute. Also, whenever the crew is split for some reason, it's usually Lister and Kat as one group and Crichton and Rimmer as the other. So it's nice to see Kat and Crichton doing something together for a change.
Space Weevil!
As usual, Kat is super helpful when it comes time to tell Rimmer he was lost in a poker game.
We're all deeply sorry, bud. Apart from me and him.
He's really into that groinal exploder, though.
Wow! Cool pants, bud. That's gonna drive the chicks nuts.
Later, they want to take advantage of the synchronicity, and apparently it's more likely to work when they have heightened emotions.
Ever heard of the expression, as cool as a cat? We're pretty hard to fluster, buddy.
Stage 1 achieved.
To be fair, I'm surprised that didn't get a much bigger reaction. If anything, he seems to forget about it right after.
Wait a minute, how about this for weird?
According to the Making Of documentary, talking at the same time was a real challenge for these two actors.
Her name's Irene, and her nickname is Professor E.
There's kind of a rhythm to how they're talking, so that's probably how they managed it.
Wouldn't it be ironic if a professor known for being wrong finally got something right?
Cat doesn't have a whole lot to do in Dear Dave, but both of his scenes are amazing.
What's the best way to break bad news? And what kind of face you got on?
A serious face, sir. Kindly, but serious.
That's what I thought. Hey, thanks, bud.
First, he needs to give some bad news, but with charades because he's bored.
Remember, really bad news.
It's just so cute.
2 words. Whole thing.
And the rest of them aren't even really trying to guess, they're just making stuff up.
Rimmer's got a rogue virus. I've got a rogue virus. Zombies!
A giant death worm.
It's turned into a jacket.
Crichton eventually
It's turned
gets
into a jacket.
Clothes are on us. On a washing line, and a mail pod came in and crashed into your clothes.
Got it in one.
And how's that 2 words?
Because when it happened, I said, oh, man.
I love how everyone else is pissed off by the end, but Cat's all, I had fun.
So who is this Roy dude?
Oh,
The
here we
second
go.
major scene where he checks on Lister after hearing about the letter he got regarding his ex being pregnant. Possibly by him, but it could be another guy named Roy, and naturally Lister is having some anxiety over the fact that she could have been seeing both of them at the same time.
Don't think about them together. Keep all those them together thoughts right out of your head.
So naturally, while trying to tell Lister not to think about it,
And don't be tempted to wonder if she squidged up her nose for him in that really cute way she used to squidge up her nose for you, because the chances are she did.
he gets him to think about it more.
Don't start thinking about all those late night shifts she was always doing, because if it was me, I'd be thinking hey, banks all close at 5.
I love that Cat got that, but Lister didn't.
Hey, you don't think she was with this Roy guy?
The whole damn time.
Here's where it gets really bad.
Because if you start thinking about all those hours you were sitting at home, killing time while she was probably on all fours, covered in money, while his finger-wetting machine was working overtime.
Oh my god, bad kitty.
Now you get a picture like that in your head, it's real hard to get rid of.
Yeah, that was kind of graphic. And I know I've said this before, but I'm going to mention it again because it's an important part of his character. He's not being mean on purpose. He really thinks he's helping. He just has no filter and is kind of an idiot.
I told you not to think about it.
I'm thinking about it now.
This actually reminds me a lot of the scene
There we
in
go.
Ebony where Lister is angsting over losing his arm and Cat tries to make him
saw
feel
Special
better by
Iron
comparing him
mentioning
to
this
a
scene.
three-legged pit bull and doesn't understand why he gets mad.
I don't think you've been listening to a thing I've said.
The scene even ends in a nearly identical way.
That's unbelievable. You've not listened to a word I've said.
Okay, one more bit with Cat where he can't find any toilet paper.
There's gotta be some somewhere.
I guess we needed to meet our brown trousers quota for this season.
Damn near walk 3 miles.
He ends up finding some mail, but that turns out to be the one Lister was waiting for.
That's my special report.
It won't be special in a minute.
Great line there.
It won't be special in a minute.
It's a wibbly gun. It makes things go all
Whippified.
In the beginning, I think this is Cat's room, but they seem to make it a point of not letting us see it. Maybe not. Maybe this is just a case of Cat napping in a random room somewhere.
Yeah, most
So what's our
likely.
next move? Shall I go slip into something more appropriate, like, say, a coffin?
This is another episode where Cat is just there for most of it and doesn't do much, but he does have this great scene. Rimmer is trying to come up with a plan, and Cat comes in and starts bothering him because that's what cats do.
This is great.
Reminds me of Tara sandwiching herself between my keyboard and monitor. Also kind of a throwback to season 1, only that was a yo-yo. Also,
why you can't think of a plan, dummit? It's a demon messing up your head. Your father.
Cat kind of accidentally helps Rimmer.
The only thing keeping him alive is you. You're never gonna win over that dude's approval. Give it up. Let it go.
That's very profound for him.
Hey, look how it's moving.
This scene is a perfect microcosm of Cat.
How do you know all this?
Do you think awesome good looks and rock hard pecs are my only qualities? I'm a cat. I sense things.
Stupid and smart at the same time. Maybe not smart so much as instinctual, but it's still a kind of intelligence. He offhandedly solves Rimmer's lifelong problem while excitedly playing with a string the whole time. And that's Season 10 Cat. There are a whole lot of throwbacks to Seasons 1 and 2, like the dancing and playing with toys like a cat would, but he's still able to fly a spaceship, sometimes notices when something's off, and of course that fun little surprising scene where he solves Rimmer's problem. I still prefer Season 6 Cat, but this one works too. I'm sure it was refreshing for those who were missing Seasons 1 and 2 Cat and wanted to see more of that stuff. Even his wardrobe kind of feels like a throwback to Season 1, like we've looped back around to the super nice suits era. There are a couple that I don't like, but in general I like his Season 10 look. One exception though. I hate what they did to his hair. It's so big and overly elaborate, I hate it. I hate it. His hair has gone through a lot of iterations, but it's always been fairly sleek and simple and didn't detract from his clothes. And a guy with this look needs some aspect of it to be simple to balance it out. What I think maybe they were going for is a shape that mimics the Seasons 1 through 3 look, with the poofy hair and the small ponytail, but they were trying to do it with Caucasian type hair. Kind of the same idea as the sculpted bump from Season 5, and no, I don't care that it's actually called a pompadour, stop being pedantic. But at least that one was kind of
of course
a
it was a
product
wig
of
by
its
this
time.
point.
It seemed to be going for that sculpted fade look that was popular in the 90s, but with Caucasian hair. This hairstyle doesn't belong in any decade. Just yikes. Okay, with that out of the way...
Really hated that hair, didn't I?
Unfortunately, that also starts off with something I don't like. Trojan has him wearing fuchsia velvet pants and, well, it looks like a blazer at first glance, but it could be a vest or maybe the sleeves just match the shirt. With big fluffy feathers coming out of the lapels. The shirt is glittery and possibly see-through, though that might be a trick of the light, hard to tell. And it's covered in silver sequins of some kind. There's also a silver glittery little bow-shaped pin. I'm sorry, it's too much. I hate it, especially with that overly elaborate hair. Later he wears the same type of Star Trek-y jumpsuit as everyone else, except the colors are swapped on his. Not much to say other than it looks damn good on him. The rest of them look good too, especially considering their ages, but Danny just rocks his. I'm afraid his outfit in Fathers and Sons isn't much better than the fuchsia outfit. I can't quite make out the pattern, but I think I see leaves and jungle print. Anyway, it's got just about every color in it. Pale yellow, lime green, fuchsia, periwinkle. Granted, all light colors, but it's a lot of them. The collar is turquoise-colored fur for some reason, and it's paired with a pale purple shirt and an almost matching sequin tie, though it's a bit darker. They could have at least paired it with black pants, but the
Tina said I hate it
this
4 times in about 5 minutes.
Ugh. In Lemons, he finally wears something I like. It's actually kind of a similar look as the last suit. If you look closely, you can see that there are a lot of colors in it, but they're toned down and it's got black trim and is paired with a dark purple shirt and a black tie. It's kind of velvety, and this is another pattern I can't quite make out, but the lines are matte and a dark color. Purple, maybe? It slightly toes the line, but I still like it. I also like that he managed to find a matching turban and scarf to go with it. Notice that his is the only one with jewelry involved. I love it when they give Cat details like that. There's actually a costume change in this one, and...
I can't believe I didn't mention that. I think he was wearing a chain around his neck, which I think was the belt from, what was that episode? Where the purple outfit he wears with the gold belt. I suddenly can't think of... Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Crap. Whatever. If I remember it, I'll...
It's the tartan suit he wore in the second half of The Inquisitor, way back in Season 5. Nothing new, just that exact outfit down to the tie. Wow, good on Danny for being able to wear the same clothes at 50 that he wore when he was 30. I'm just now really realizing how many of these suits are palette swaps of each other. It really is almost like Season 1 again. In Entangled, it's a satiny turquoise with some kind of leafy pattern that appears to have been done in matte purple. Again, with black trim. Simple white shirt and black tie like with a tartan suit. Dear Dave has him wearing something a little different. It's all pink, but it looks red in some lighting. The jacket has some kind of silvery diamond pattern on it. The shirt and pants are solid pink, though the pants are quilted, also a diamond pattern. It's also got a gold brooch with pink jewels in it, and the jacket is held closed with a gold chain.
No, he didn't wear purple in Back to
Earth. I love
Earth.
this one. It's very creative with the jewelry.
The beginning first shows him wearing
Justice. I think that was the one where he wore all the purple and he had a gold chain belt.
Robe. I noticed that the shirt and tie is something he's still wearing later, so I guess he's just taking a nap. So yeah, maybe this isn't meant to be his quarters. Later he wears what might be my favorite outfit this season. I think maybe just because it gets away from the whole suit aesthetic. Anyway, it's shiny black pants, a black shirt and black tie with, I think, rhinestones on it, and a bolero jacket that is covered in pink sequins with black lapels. It's even got diamond buttons like that blue one he wore in Epideme and Back in the Red Part 1. Yeah, this is the kind of outfit that I like to see on Cat. Flashy and colorful, but with lots of black to balance it out. And in this scene, we can see that he's got a blingy silver bracelet. So I guess that's about everything I have to say about how Cat is portrayed in Season 10. Like I said, it's kind of a mix of previous versions of Cat rolled into one, and that's fine. Next up will be Season 11 and maybe 12. We'll see. See you then.
What if I finally start using the new cat
See you then.
thing?
Oh, fuck. I guess I'll just stop. I wanted to do one more take, but...
Yep. Oh my god, look at that. About an hour, 2 hours, roughly 2.5 hours. Yeah, we might be finishing all these next weekend. My one job is midnight shift, so my day doesn't start until 11 p.m. Wow. Yeah, I did graveyard shift once. I hated it. Why did you not finish the monsters videos? Because I had to get a full-time job and I don't have time to make weekly videos anymore. He's probably gone. I think there's an outtake from this episode where he's wandering around with a newspaper. He sees a fish on it and displays it to the audience saying fish. Oh, yeah, I've seen that. God, please don't make me picture Cat in silk Speedos. I'm not going to touch that one. What do you want? Why are you such a butt? Dina 2023. I say that to Tara all the time. See, you didn't think ahead. My daughter used to love quoting that line. You can tell I've raised her well. That's a fun catism. Dog, see what I brought you? See, isn't it so cool? It's a stick. Yeah, that image of the dog surrounded by a big pile of stuff reminded me of a video I saw kind of recently where someone's pet beaver was trying to build a dam in the hallway. They were basically just gathering objects from all over the house and taking it to this one spot in the hallway and just like essentially trying to build a dam. It was so cute. Found a big spider in my bedroom. That was a bit much for me. Oh, sorry to hear that.
My parents' cat Missy is occasionally known to snatch flies out of the air. That's awesome. And Tolchok had a dog who snapped flies out of the air. Wow. Cujo used to be afraid of flies. I think it's because he thought I was. Oh man. Giant death worm turned into a jacket seemed pretty close. I did it. They got the answer. Cat does find ways to entertain himself. That's true. We have the patented cat keeps making the situation worse because he can't keep his mouth shut scene. Yep. Not quite once per episode, but definitely at least once per season. God damn it, Cat. You don't know when the hell to shut up, and I love you for it. Yep. Damn, like most of us shopping for toilet paper during the pandemic. That was crazy. I don't know why everybody was buying up all the toilet paper. But that was certainly a thing. Surprisingly deep cat wisdom. Odie comes into my room to let me know he wants to get up on my mom and dad's bed. He sniffs about a bit and then walks out as if to say, come on, lift me up. That's so cute. Yeah, Tara will sometimes come up to me and just like make noises at me and just like, she doesn't want anything in particular. It's like she just wants to bug me. That's why I sometimes say stuff like, why are you such a butt? Or what do you want? And stuff like that. There's some truth there. Cats can sometimes tell when you're upset and have been known to try to cheer you up. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I guessed that it was somewhere around season 5 that Danny John Jules started wearing a wig. He sort of looks like he had a rolling pin in there at some point. Yeah, it looked like they sculpted his hair around a rolling pin and then took the rolling pin out. You redecorated. I hate it. That's cute. Just saw the news on S Club 7 member Paul. I don't know what that is. Maybe you could put a spike in your head and pretend you're the Taj Mahal. Yes, that's the outfit I was thinking of. What happened at the end? I missed the text. Oh! It didn't occur to me that you guys wouldn't be able to read that. Hang on. See you then. Okay, so basically I was gonna do, I think I had done just, how many takes had I done? I don't know, but I wanted to do more takes of that line, but then suddenly the air conditioner came on. Oh, fuck. And then contemplates going all the way downstairs to turn it off. Just stop. I wanted to do one more take, but... So yeah, that's what happened there. I usually try to turn off the air conditioner, but sometimes I'll just turn it way up, hoping that it won't, and hope that it won't come on. Just noticed you had your hair longer back then. Yeah, I'm trying to grow it out again. I think it's probably longer now than it was then, though. How much Ty has passed. I liked graveyard shifts when I worked in the office to a degree. I don't know, Kat must have passed a lot of ties around across the years. Is Lee away? Can you order spicy food? Yeah, he is Lee is out of town for now. Trying to sell some of our stuff on eBay so we can pay the money we owe for the apartment. So yeah, I've been eating chili. I've been eating chili all week. Till the point we think someone broke in through the ceiling. A really long story. Oh. Yep, though why did you stop making monsters vlogs? Guy has left. Sometimes people will pop in, ask a question, or make a comment and then leave, which I guess isn't that weird, but it's just kind of funny. Cat in silk speedos, oh god, like Bruce Lee in tiny pink shorts. Well, I assume it was someone's pet. It was in their home, so he's saying pet beaver. Beavers come in two usually? I once spent the night sleeping in different positions in my room because of a spider. Odie tries to snap at flies as well. He's never caught one. I remember when we had hand sanitizer at work at the beginning, we soon had to move it out of sight because customers kept coming in and filling bottles from it. Oh my god, that's so rude. S Club 7 was a kiddie pop band from the late 90s, early 2000s. One member died recently. Oh, okay. That's a bummer. Filed by the air conditioner once again. You know that it's being controlled by Holly. It wouldn't surprise me. We can't tell how long it is you've tied it up. Well, that's true. I usually start the stream with it down, though. It's nice not to wake up before noon. I have a late shift, too. We don't have air conditioning in houses in the UK. We use fans instead. Yeah, I've heard that. Oh yeah, I've been watching that Across the Pond guy or Lost in the Pond guy that somebody recommended during one of these streams. So I know a little bit more about the UK than I used to. He did point out that the weather's a lot more mild in the UK, so you don't need air conditioning as much. Why not sell on Craigslist? Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. It's probably a lot easier to do it on eBay. Also, like if you sell stuff on Craigslist, they have to come to your house to get it, and you don't necessarily want people to know where you live. I bought those natural little box traps for insects. I hope you're able to release them. When people comment like that and then just leave, it reminds me of the South Park movie. We heard there would be pie and punch. There isn't any. Oh, both leave. Yeah, it is kind of like that. Stealing hand sanitizer sounds German too. Maybe a human problem. I remember S Club 7. I never had any of their albums, but I did watch the show they had. I've never heard of them. I guess they're, I guess I wasn't the target audience, but still. Quickly got sick of hearing Reach for the Stars. I don't think I know that one. I don't know how people handle long hair. I find it so uncomfortable. Well, we put it up. Excuse me. He has a dry sense of humor, that Lost in the Pond. I like him. Like how you use it to learn about the UK. I use it to learn about America. That's a good point. It works whichever place you're from. The further north in the UK you go, the rainier it gets. Todd in the Shadows did a video on S Club 7? Huh. Well, maybe I'll look that up out of curiosity. I had long hair. It felt nice. Yeah, short hair is easier to take care of, but anytime I have short hair, I miss having long hair. I just kind of grew up having long hair, and I'm just sort of used to it. And anytime I've had to cut my hair, I always, like, regret it. Like, I mean, it looks fine, but I always miss having long hair. Colder as well, hence Lister talking about the T-Rex would be a Geordie, the kind of guy who wears a t-shirt in winter and his nipples don't get hard. Yeah. Turns out it's pretty easy to use in any TV show or cartoon's premise when singing the tune to... Oh, you're talking about the... Okay, well, I guess I will wrap up. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Oh, yeah, I never did read the message from Pajama Critic when he tipped me. He said, been a fun time revisiting these vlogs with you. Good luck with the rent. So that was very nice. I appreciated that tip. I did thank them. I meant to read it, and I forgot that it's not a super chat, so it wouldn't be in the chat. I was going to read it when I got to it in the chat, but obviously it wasn't on there because it's not a super chat. So anyway, yes. Good night, or we're getting to good night. Now whenever I see space, I think of the Red Dwarf theme. No problem, Moonbeam. Glad you enjoyed it. Okay, so yeah, I'll see you guys next weekend, where I guess we'll be finishing this up. How long did I say I had left? Like 2.5 hours? I don't know if I'm going to get through all of them. I might possibly not. We'll see. I always forget what time it is over at your place. Yeah, it's 4:22 for me. 4:22 p.m. I always have dinner right after I finish this stream, so now on to the final Red Dwarf videos. Sob. Okay, everybody, have a good evening. Have a good Easter. I will see you next week, I hope. 1:22 after midnight for me. Wow. All right, bye, everybody.